Hello, hello, hello. What's up this morning, everyone? Welcome. Fine Tuesday to you all, and Edge of Eternities spoiler day. Good to see ya. What is up? Ishardoda, Soul of Grados, our Lord, welcome. Jake Cullen, welcome all the first timers to the stream. Good to see you. Welcome. How is everyone doing today? I am incredibly excited because today is Edge of Eternities day, and this set's been kind of funny. We haven't had a whole lot of leaks lately. Things have been going pretty smooth on the leak front. But that changed with this set because a ton of it is already leaked. There's been leaks coming out over the past couple weeks. And then this morning, I don't know if you saw this morning, one of the sites that was supposed, I guess they got the info from WotC early, some press stuff, and then they accidentally published their article at like 3 in the morning instead of after Wizard stream today. So I think they leaked everything that's going to be on the stream in a couple of hours. Luddick, Christoph, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big tip for you. Thank you. I'm very curious to see if slivers are actually fully in the set. Like we've seen the sliver card. I don't know how much we want to get into the cards that came out this morning because there's so many of them, but then it's going to kind of spoil the stream when WotC does it. I don't know if we want to wait or if we want to look at them now. I'm open to feedback on what you all think, but we did get to see the sliver card that has been spoiled so far. Thrumming Hive Pool, Shim Kamar, and also JC Gullets, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. And McIntyre, the hype train's running the Great Destroyer, welcome you as well. Good to see ya. I'm very curious. So here's the sliver card we've seen so far. 6 mana artifact. Affinity for slivers. So if you have 6 slivers, it's literally free. Slivers you control have double strike and haste, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, you make 2 colorless 1/1 sliver creature tokens. So I don't know. Yeah, I think we're going to mostly wait and watch the stream together. I think that's going to be the main plan. I'm curious, though. Do you think that this means slivers are in the set? Or would they just print this one-off card? Like, are we going to get a bunch of new slivers? Or would they just print this card for, like, sliver commander decks? I'm very curious, because it would be super cool to be able to build slivers in standard, but I'm not sure if this means, like, slivers are a supported creature type, or if they just printed this one random sliver card. Oh, the card's great in a sliver deck. Like, this goes in literally any slivers deck that you build. In commander, for sure. In other formats, I think if we get slivers in standard, I would play this. I even think in, like, modern or pioneer, you could probably play this in a sliver deck and it would be fine. The affinity mode's just so crazy. Like, if you had to pay 6 mana for this, it'd be way too much, but because of affinity for slivers, I actually think it's very powerful. Yeah, there's some sweet cards in this set, but we're gonna wait. I think, I'm actually not sure if the spoilers start in 1 hour or 2 hours. You never know with Wizards and their scheduling. You never know. So we're gonna get official spoilers soon. Slivers in space seem kind of weird. I mean, in some sense, like Tezzeret in space is also kind of weird, right? Or Tarmogoyf in space is it's all kind of weird, but at least the cards look cool. For your information, Burn didn't hit by a ban at all. Absolutely blasts the slower decks in standard. Ooh, let me see, Joe. Yeah, I mean, Burn seems like a good option now that other aggro decks have been kind of powered down a bit. I've seen some people playing Vishino Pyromancer. I think Pyromancer is good. Yeah, I like it, Joe. I think it looks pretty good. Flipplethip, yeah. I mean, Tarmogoyf in space is so perfect. It's so good. I've seen such little hype for the Spider-Man set. Me too. I have not seen a ton. I mean, I've heard a few people really hype for it, but I haven't heard much about it yet. Yeah, this set's going to be very, very interesting. So anyway, the plan for today, we're going to play some standard. I kind of want to play some Yuna. I'm very intrigued by Yuna. We haven't played Yuna yet. So we're going to play some Yuna. Going to wait for spoilers. We're going to talk about Edge of Eternities. And pretty soon, we're going to delve into the set and then do a spoiler video. So 2-0 burn at my store champs. Demir. Yeah, the store champs. I don't know. Did anyone else go to the store champs? Apparently, you won like a $400 promo if you won your store championship, I believe. Here's an interesting take on Shadow the Hedgehog that I find pretty funny. Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog seems kind of busted. It seems pretty busted. So what is the plan, Autism, of this deck? It's morph face down. Wait, what is the synergy with face down in Sonic? Oh, each spell you have says split second. So his idea to flip morphs in response to show that you can do that in response to split second. Yeah, definitely a powerful card. Doppelgang. Yeah, should we add a doppelgang? Is that where we're at? This isn't even the right colors for Doppelgang. This is Naya though, so I don't think we can play it. Let's play some Yuna though. Let's do our reminders, and we're gonna wait for the spoilers to pop up. Reminders, replay YouTube. That's we invite all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube, tons of new standard content, spoiler content starting today, so we're gonna get all that. A shout out to our sponsor, Card Kingdom, if you need some magic cards. Maybe some Edge of Eternities cards. You can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtdgoldfish. Even get a goldfish shaker. Let them know you want one in your order notes. I gotta say, before we get into the games, does it seem like this set's happening super close to Final Fantasy? I don't know if it's just because Final Fantasy was so hyped and it just like dominated the conversation to such a great extent, or if it was because Vegas was in between there, so I was gone for like a week and it makes it feel shorter. But for some reason, starting spoilers today caught me by surprise. I feel like we're just coming off Final Fantasy release, and now we're already doing another big set with a lot of spoilers. 6 sets a year. It's definitely keeps things busy. It definitely keeps things busy, that's for sure. Anyway, this deck that we're going to mess around with as we wait for spoilers to officially kick off. This is a Yuna deck. So Yuna, what does Yuna want to do? Yuna wants to get enchantments in the graveyard because on our end step, it can reanimate an enchantment. Also gives it an enchantment creature so we control, trample, lifelink, and ward. So we have stuff like Summon Bahamut. We have Summon Knights of the Realm. We got my favorite Overlord of the Boiler Biggles that we can get in the graveyard, maybe with Esper Origins or Terra Magical Adept or Joshua, and then get the back with Yuna. We also could just kind of play the grindy enchantment game. Like, we got a lot of just reasonable cards. Like, I like Joshua. I think it's a pretty fair card. Esper Origins has really impressed me coming back from the graveyard as a 4/4, drawing a card. So you can kind of grind out value that way. And then Yuna's kind of the big finisher that can just come down and really put the game away. Lucid! Good to see you, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, did I tell you, when I went to Vegas, speaking of Boiler Biggles, I don't know where. Oh, it's in the other room. But I was gifted a deck, and it was super sweet. It was like a deck that was kind of a dinosaur deck, but it had a bunch of like against the odds cards in it, like Panglacia Worm and stuff. It's a really cool deck. But the sweetest part of it is it had custom Overlord of the Boiler Biggles sleeves, and they were so good. Hey, how was summer camp, Lucid? The reason I'm not excited for the Spider-Man set is because we aren't getting the actual cards on Arena. We're getting the Through the Omen Path version. I don't like that. Yeah, that is incredibly awkward. How they ended up there, I will never know. It blows my mind. I'd like to think that it had to be Marvel saying, no, we have our own digital card game and we don't want to be competing with ourselves because of Marvel Snap. If that's what happened, I get it, even though, I don't know, I don't have a big connection to Marvel IP, so I would almost be like, if that's the case, maybe you just do another set where you can get all the IP. So that's one possibility. Also possible that Wizards just cheaped out, and they were like, oh, sure, you can put it on Arena, you just gotta pay us more money, and Wizards was like, about that. We will just use Arachnoid Human instead. It's the whole situation is just absurd. It is just straight up absurd. I don't know how we ended up in a world where Arena is gonna get a different set, but here we are. Digital rights fail, indeed. It's 100% Disney wanted too much money for the digital rights. I still kind of blame Wizards because I feel like they control what they print, right? They control what they print. If they go to Disney and Disney's like, hey, it's going to be way too much money to get the digital rights, they could just be like, all right, we'll just make Avatar instead. Sorry, Marvel. Sorry, Disney. You know, if you're not going to make it work for us, it's such a bad solution. So they announced a little while ago that any of the Marvel sets, which we know Spider-Man's coming, and we know there's several more coming in the future that we don't know what they are yet, but any of the Marvel sets, they can't put in digital. So when they release a Spider-Man set in 2 months, you'll get Spider-Man in paper, and then you'll get, I don't know, Arachnid Humanoid with different art and a different name on Arena because they can't use actual Spider-Man art or any art from any of the X-Men sets. I'm really on Fringe of Eternities. Warp is such a neat mechanic. This set looks amazing. I'm excited for the mechanics of this set. Warp looks really cool. The spacecraft thing is intriguing. I do think it's going to play better than it looks. When I first saw spacecraft, and we're going to try to stick to old spoilers that are not the ones that were leaked today, so we can actually watch the stream in a minute. But we got one of them early. Spacecraft So spacecraft, the one we officially got a while ago, the Sirmia. So the spacecraft mechanic, really intriguing. So essentially how this works is you play this artifact, and then you have to tap 7+ power of creatures at sorcery speed to crew it up and eventually turn it into a creature. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. It seems good in Commander. Do I actually want to tap 7+ power? And some of the numbers are higher. Some of the numbers are 10+ power, 12+ power, 20 power. Is it actually realistic for me to tap 7 or 10 or 20 power worth of creatures in Standard to turn these on? In some ways, it reminds me of battles, where I worry that we're going to find out once we start playing with them that it's just not actually worth it to tap that much power to turn them on. On the other hand, I kind of feel like it's going to play better than it looks. I think the biggest deal here is you can tap summoning sick creatures. With battles, you had to play a creature, had to lose summoning sickness. You had to attack the battle instead of your opponent. With these, though, you can tap your summoning sick creatures. So you can play your spacecraft and then just play a 4-power creature and immediately tap it and charge it up by 4 to start working on turning into a creature. Yes, it's going to give you less defense, which still might be a problem, especially against aggro decks. It still might be too much of a deal breaker. If you think about the math, if you're playing big creatures, how many do you have to tap to turn this on? 2, 3 maybe at the most? That might be realistic. And then your reward is you get a kind of big flyer, I guess. I'm very curious. What do y'all think of the spacecraft mechanic? Is the spacecraft mechanic actually going to be worth it? I think it's going to be really good in Commander. In Commander, you have 40 life. Games go, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 turns. The games go much longer. It seems pretty easy. I play plenty of Commander games where people build up big boards and are not attacking with them because they don't want to make enemies or there's not good attacks. And then it seems easy and just I'll just tap them to my spacecraft, turn it on eventually. So in Commander, it seems good. In Standard, I'm still very on the fence as to whether it's actually going to be good or not, but we will see. We will see soon. I kind of hate it. I will say, I think the flavor's really good. I think the flavor, it feels like what I would imagine a spacecraft being, right? You have this big ship, but you need to actually have people in the ship to fly it. So flavor-wise, it does feel like you're adding a crew to a spacecraft, and then eventually it takes off and does its thing. So I really like how it plays flavor-wise. We'll just have to see if it's actually realistic to tap that much power in a format like Standard. Battlecruiser Magic is literally back. Yeah, I also don't understand. It seems, my guess is they just didn't have enough room on the type line. You want to put legendary artifact spacecraft vehicle or something, and I think they just don't have enough space to fit it all on there. So that would be my guess, because they do feel a lot like vehicles. They feel a lot like vehicles, but yes, I probably would have made them spacecraft vehicles. I don't think it would have, or maybe, I guess the other possibility is maybe it differentiates how you crew them. Because vehicles, you generally, crew for the turn, right? And then they go back into being just artifacts. With spacecraft, once you get them powered up, they're just creatures forever, and you don't have to worry about crewing them again. So maybe they wanted it to be different, so people would make sure to play them differently, play them in the right way. But I still imagine they just run out of text, not enough room. I think there's cards that give vehicles an alt crew cost. That's also true. The other thing I'm wondering about with these cards, do these do anything with enchantments or other effects that turn artifacts into creatures? And I kind of feel like they don't, as weird as that sounds. If you ensoul artifact a spacecraft, it'll turn into a creature. But the way this reads to me, and I guess we'll have to get the official rulings to know for sure, but the way this reads to me is I would still need to have tapped 7+ power worth of creatures if I want it to have flying. If I want other untapped legendary creatures I control to have indestructible, I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. Yes, we'll keep. We're good. We got Verges. We're fine. All right. Your go, opponent. I forgot. We're playing Magic. We're not just talking about spacecraft here. It's kind of funny, but I really love the art of this set. I really love the art. It's I love outer space. I just love outer space. I don't care about like sci-fi and all that stuff. That doesn't really matter to me. But just like outer space is a concept, like the real world outer space, I find endlessly intriguing. Like it's so big. Sometimes I just like lay in bed and just think about outer space and like how big it is. That's the part that blows my mind. Just like the bigness of space. How much is actually out there? I don't think our brains can comprehend it. Like, I think it's actually too big for our little human minds to actually fully understand. The art's really good. Yeah, I'm very excited just having like space on art, having planets on art. It's just gonna look so cool. Absence Sephiroth with only 4 rotating cards got me to Mythic this month. 16-2 versus Demir. Oh, it's kind of funny. We played the Aristocrat deck with Sephiroth on Friday, and I also found it did really good against Demir. I don't know if it's just Sephiroth or the blockers or the value. Mine was definitely way more like sack focused, like just straight white black Aristocrat Sephiroth. But yeah, maybe Sephiroth is actually good in the Demir meta. Do we Yuna? Is it even? Yeah, we get back a Dredger's Insight. That's actually kind of sweet. All right, let's play the land. I think we do it. Let's play the Yuna. Plus, we get the counter from the summon Fenrir. So Yuna comes down, hit ya. Summon Fenrir, gain a little bit of life. End step. Dredger's Insight comes back, do a little more milling. And get a planes, I guess. Krusty back, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big Duke Jeffrey, thank you. Has it been a while since the Seth stream? Oh, we streamed last week, but we did miss a couple before that because of Vegas. So it might feel like it's been a while because it turned out that the way the Vegas timing worked out, I was leaving on one Tuesday and coming back the next Tuesday. So we ended up missing 2 weeks in a row for Vegas, but ooh, Boiler Biggles. That's a Boiler Biggles. That is a Boiler Biggles. So we could just play it. And then we get back summon Fenrir. That's kind of fine. Yeah, let's play the planes. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just do it. Overlord of the Boiler Biggles. With lifelink, 4 to the face. Go up to 25, hit you with Yuna, go up to 29, end step. Yeah, man, this deck gains a lot of life. We're kind of soul sisters, actually. I know. I can't believe they reprinted Sunfall. It's not literally Sunfall, but I was really hey, Stone Rain, how are you? Good to see you. I can't believe they reprint. I mean, I can believe it, but I was really hoping they wouldn't just reprint it. Oh, can we win through an Atraxa? I'm actually not sure if we can win through an Atraxa here. Opponent, we need a removal spell that can kill it. Boiler Biggles, maybe. Opponent's gonna gain 7, so they go up to 16. Oh, I guess Boiler Biggles plus Torch sacking Dredger's Insight. That works, right? That works. So let's Fear Missing Out. Get a counter from the summon Fenrir. Discard the Esper Origins. Get back the Esper Origins. Mill the Torch to the tower, keep the Terra. I mean, I think we just win here, though, right? So now what we need to do is play the land, go to combat, attack, 4 damage to Atraxa. In response, we will bargain, sacking Fear of Missing Out. Boiler Biggles. Boiler Biggles for the win. Oh, you know what's better than Atraxa? That would be Overlord of the Boiler Biggles. Has the card everything stopped working for Roach on Twix desktop? Ooh, let me make sure that it's running. Oh yeah, it appears to be running and up to date. Huh. If it's not working, let me know, and I'll have to figure out something else for the future. Please call me Sunfall. Call me Sunfall. It's not going to be standard legal again. Okay. So this is a leak. This is not, as far as I know, part of today's cards. I think this is just one of the random leaks. Let me see if I can find. Does anyone know the name of the card off the top of their head? The Sunfall replacement. But basically, I don't see it. I don't see it at the moment. But it was one of the leagues. It's not literally Sunfall, but it's 5 mana, destroy all creatures in all space, or not destroy, exile all creatures in all spacecraft. So very similar to Sunfall. You don't get the incubate token, but my problem with Sunfall wasn't really the incubate token. I just don't like exile Ras. Like, I feel like the Sephiroth deck that we played, a couple days ago, just doesn't really work in a Sunfall world, or works way less well in a Sunfall world. So I'm kind of disappointed that we're going to have that effect in Standard for a million more years, but what do we want against? So our opponent's, I guess, like Domain? Some sort of Overlord Domain style deck. Nissa seems pretty solid. Maybe some Exercise or Get Lost if we can find room. Do we want Torch the Tower? I feel like Torch the Tower is actually not that good in this matchup. We probably just want harder removal that actually is going to kill the big things. Maybe something like that's fine. There's one more Get Lost. Can we get another Get Lost in the deck somehow? I also kind of like the Chandra. Yeah, close enough. Let's run it like that. McFly3K, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Hey, we found it. Okay, here's the card. Thank you, Joe. This is a leak. I don't believe it's part of today's cards, but yeah, Beyond the Quiet. The art is pretty cool looking though. What is that holding a space, like a planet? A bowling ball? What is actually going on in that art? But yeah, 5 mana, exile all creatures in spacecraft. Maybe it's maybe Standard is so powerful we need that effect. I just don't like it. I'm just not a fan. Not a fan of Sunfall effects in Standard, but whatever, we'll survive. So what are you hoping for out of Edge of Eternities? Actually, I guess the bigger question, the traditional question that we haven't got to yet. What's the hype level? I know we're coming off Final Fantasy, which was a very hype set. What's the hype level for this set? Now, we definitely don't want Elegant Parlor. And do we mill FOMO too? Yeah, I guess FOMO's okay. It can get rid of one of our lands. 6, 8. I feel I'm always, well, not always, usually hyped for Magic sets. I guess there are exceptions, like Ether Drift, the set that we no longer speak about. I'm actually pretty hyped for this set. This set actually seems pretty for me. The space stuff seems really cool. The question I also have is, do you feel like this is a hat set? From what you've seen, from the bit of leaks, or from... Ooh, Boiler Biggles. We're taking the Boiler Biggles. Always take the Boiler Biggles. But from what you've seen, is this going to be a hat set? You got into Standard. Hey, that's awesome, Funk. Good to have you at the Steam, Cos Funk. How are you enjoying Standard so far? Standard's a really fun format. I've been really enjoying Standard, especially since the bannings. I've really been enjoying Standard. Well, let's just Esper Origins. So do we want to cast? What's in our graveyard right now? So we can get back Summon Fenrir. Let's go FOMO Graveyard. Dredger's Insight top. We want to leave a permanent on top because we're going to draw it anyway. From the Summer Esper Modern. I play Rabbits and honestly pretty fun. I really want to build a Lightning Army of One deck, but it feels too slow. Ooh, funny that you say that. I've been working on a Lightning aggro deck. It's not to the point where I'm ready to do a video on it yet because I haven't quite cracked it, but I feel like it's actually very good. Ooh, 2 mana is actually kind of nice here. So let's Dredger's Insight. I mean, we're gonna try to set up this unit, I think. Dredger's Insight. Can we mill something good? How about a Summon Bahamut here would be sweet. Summon Knights of the Round. Wow, so many Dredger's Insights. Well, all right. Let's stay the course. Yuna. Get it down. Yeah, aggro has become much less oppressive, which is kind of exciting, actually. Well, let's get back at Dredger's Insight. Keep filling the graveyard. Well, all right, Boiler Biggles. Can never have too many Boiler Biggles. Serious Sam V, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This standard feels so much better to me. I've been going like 55% win rate with Mono Blue Mill. It's been fun milling people out. Yeah, it has felt way better to me too. Like ever since, wow, so many Boiler Biggles. Ever since the Mannings, I feel like standard has hugely improved. Are we just throwing Boiler Biggles at their face? Is that what this has come down to? Just like Boiler Biggle your face for 4? See what? Yeah, I guess. All right, Boiler Biggles. Here it comes. How is Bear? Oh my God, Bear. He's doing good. He doesn't like the heat. It's been very hot and humid, and he's not the biggest fan of the heat. Other than that, he's doing great. Oh, I'll keep an eye out, Stone Rain. I'm excited. Oh yeah, Red Overlord with haste is so good. We are kind of falling behind. Now what? Now I have to deal with the Overlord of the Haunt Ones. Opponent's only got 2 cards in hand. That's good news. Now I really want to find another Yuna. Let's Dredger's Insight. See if we can find a Yuna. Okay, just more we found every Boiler Biggle. All right, we have found all the Boiler Biggles. We gain a bunch of life. Now what though? Summon Fenrir. Grab a land. Our last land. Play the Verge. Do we need to snipe this? Do we care? They get another land. Man, we don't have a Wrath in the deck either. Yeah, let's get rid of the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. All right, close enough. Pass the turn. Yeah, we don't have quite enough Boiler Biggle. Oh no! Oh no! Any idea what they're going to name with the Stone Brain? Well, maybe they'll draw us into a Yuna. Oh my God! I thought they were gonna go for Boiler Biggles. Just to empty our hand. Okay, I'm kind of okay with this. Now we just got to win with the Boiler Biggles, which, I mean, we lost our reanimation, which is bad. But we got a bunch of Boiler Biggles in hand. World Champion NA for this 2nd month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super duper, thank you. 2 months, crazy. It's already been a month since Fiend Early Access. I know it. It blows my mind that we're already back to spoiler season. Booster Therapy, welcome back to the Fishbowl. Thank you for your subscription. Big super review, thank you. Yes, Booster Therapy. I did get to play a couple games with the deck. It actually functioned really well. I won one of them and was competitive in the other one, so I'm 1-2 with the deck overall. The deck's so cool. The sleeves are so perfect too. I want to just put all my decks into Boiler Biggle sleeves now. It was so good. Thank you so much again. Well, that's a triggered ability. Let's go to combat. Let's attack. Let's see what our opponent does here. If our opponent blocks with the Overlord, then we can Boiler Biggles it. If they do not, all right, opponent does not. So I guess in that case, we will just Boiler Biggles the face. Boiler Biggles with an extra counter. Can 4 Overlord of the Boiler Biggles win a game of Standard? That is the question. And then fear of missing out. You know what else is good with Boiler Biggles is 2 attacks with fear of missing out. Pretty powerful. Discard the Esper Origins. Oh, I forgot we brought in Nissa. Nissa's actually absurd here. I don't know if it wins us the game because we don't have that many forests, but even just blowing up enchantments is pretty good. Sure, we will take your Overlord beads. And opponent, oh my goodness, unimpens. I mean, our opponent needs something, or they're gonna die. combat. Oh my god, attack. 4 to the face. Untap the Overlord of the Boiler Biggles. Wait, does this mean they don't have anything? Why did they let it attack? Ride's End, okay. Down to 5. We got him. We got him. We got him. Boiler Biggles. All we need is Boiler Biggles. Impend Boiler Biggles. Impend. Oh, no. Disdainful Stroke. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, we don't win yet. We don't win yet. Esper Orchids. Mill the starting count. Keep the Chandra on top. We are going to close this out. We are going to close this out. Play the land. Crack a map on the Esper Modded. Sure, keep the FOMO past the turn. Oh! Oh, man. Well, that went wrong in a hurry. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we dead now? I don't know if we can get back into it. Oh, we were betrayed by the Boiler Biggles. We were betrayed by the Boiler Biggles. And why did they bring it? There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. They're up to 24, though. So we can Boiler Biggles kill the Zur. Oh, it's still not great. Boiler Biggles kill the Zur. Nissa kill the Overlord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's full price the Overlord. Kill the Zur. Fear of missing out. Discard the Esper Orchids. Crack the map. Ooh, whiff. Crack the map. We need a counter on this Boiler Biggles. Well, there's a get lost if we're still alive. Wow. I'm gonna be glad when Zur rotates. I kinda hate Zur. I think Yuna is a much more fun version of Zur. Although maybe I end up hating Yuna in a year or two. The life gain's what got us. Our whole game plan, we only have 12 cards in our deck. Our entire game plan was to get him with the Boiler Biggles, and now that game plan seems very difficult to actually execute. Opponent getting it with the big attack. Well, block and block. Somehow we have a spell under the Overlord of the Mistmores. We draw the Get Lost, which is just not enough. Yeah. Not enough. I thought we had that one too. Friggin' Zur. Hey, what's up, dog? How are you? Good to see ya. Yeah, the just gain a million life is so tough, and we don't really have a clean answer. I guess we can bring in another Get Lost, maybe. Why did they bring in Stonebrain? I guess Stonebrain actually, it was good enough. Like, we didn't have Yuna to get back our stuff, and that ended up being enough for our opponent. Oh, brutal. I thought we had that one. I really thought we had that one. I don't know what to cut, though. Do we need the Day of Judgment? What do you think of this Day of Judgment art? Do you like the... Richard has this theory. It's come up on the podcast a few times. Richard has a theory that we're just going to shift more and more towards anime art. Do you think that's true? I guess Clarion Conqueror does stop Zur from activating. Although it also just dies. It does just kind of die to everything. I guess we trim. We'll try one conquer. We'll try one conquer. I kind of like the Chandra as a non-creature source of card advantage. I feel like this is mostly a grindy matchup, although they have the Zur that we don't have access to. All right, this hand's fine. We will see if the Clarion Conquer tech can actually do anything. I imagine it just gets Leyline Binding, but speaking of Magic Card, okay. I don't know how many of you listened to yesterday's podcast, but we had a big debate and conversation over whether the price of collector boosters actually matters. My question, I'm very curious. For you personally, and I think the answer to this probably depends on how you personally play the game, but for you personally, are we going to play the FOMO? Do we even want to play the FOMO? Yeah, I mean, I guess we can just FOMO discard Elegant Parlor. FOMO, discard Elegant Parlor, draw a card. More exercise, pass the turn. So here's the question, though. You have two choices. One choice is the fancy versions of cards are incredibly expensive, which is the world we live in now. Hey, what's up, Hazaret? Good to see ya. That's the world we live in now, where fancy versions of cards are super expensive, right? If you want the Surge Foil Sephiroth, it's going to cost you a ton. The upside of this is the cheapest versions of cards, the base versions, tend to be pretty inexpensive. You can grab, I guess Sephiroth is still a few bucks, but in general, you can get a lot of very powerful, very good cards for not that much these days. So many rares are like 25 cents, 50 cents, like essentially bulk rares. I feel like that's a pretty good system. I actually think a system where the special treatments are very expensive and everything else is relatively inexpensive, I actually feel like that's a pretty good system for players. Although Richard didn't really like that. He doesn't like that system. He thinks that the fancy versions need to be more accessible because are they playing Wraths? We're gonna run it out. We're gonna run it out. Don't wrath us. Don't wrath us, Rodrigo Braga. About it. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Okay, not a wrath. We're so close. Summon Knights of the Round. We don't get to draw a card. Well, okay. Exercise the Overlord. Hit ya. Untap the Conqueror. Pound it. Oh man, this is gonna be so close again. They don't have an enchantment, so Zur doesn't do it. Hit you down to 3. Fear of missing out. They need a Wrath. They need a Wrath. They need a Sweeper. They need... Oh my god, that's Boiler Biggles. Boiler Biggles is back for revenge. Boiler Biggles is back after last game. Elish... No! Gosh darn it! And opponent still scoops it up. Whew! Whew! The Elish Norn would have stopped the Boiler Biggles kill. So many emotions on that one. From guaranteed win to Elish Norn, but we got there. I guess the big question is, for you personally, does the price of Surge Foil Sephiroth matter? Or the equivalent of that card in Edge of Eternities? Or Aethered Rift? Like, does the cost of the craziest, like, super scarce, only finding collector booster foil treatment, does that matter to you? Like, do you find yourself feeling like, man, Final Fantasy is kind of a bummer because I can't get the most expensive version of my favorite character? Because I don't know if because I'm very much game focused, and I'm like, if the game is cheap and the game is fun, you can sell collector boosters for $5,000 a piece for all I care. Like, what they're like a vanity item essentially, and like whatever, I don't care. Like, you can sell your card style. It's like card styles on Arena. Like, I think an economy where card styles are incredibly expensive on Arena, and if you want to have the fancy full art basic lands, you pay a bunch of money, but then the cards themselves are really cheap. That's like, for me, a dream system. But I don't know if I'm the normal player either. Like, I started off being like, I could have stick figures as my art of my cards, and I wouldn't care because I like the game being good. As someone who wanted all of the cool Final Fantasy artworks, I was bummed out by that, but I think in general, I agree that premium versions should be expensive when the base is cheap. Yeah, I mean, I can see that too. Like, if you're someone who really just cares about the artwork and it's like your favorite art, seeing that locked behind a $500 price tag, kind of a bummer. And I've heard other people tell me that too. I've heard people who are actually like, they're very disappointed because they want that art on Sephiroth because they think the art looks really cool, but that's the expensive version and they can't afford it or don't want to afford it. It's funny though, because I feel like the Wizards in some ways is doing kind of what we asked them to do. I remember a few years ago having conversations and being like, this would be the way you should monetize the game, and they're actually finally doing it now, which is kind of exciting. Why can't both versions be reasonably priced? So I think the answer to that is Wizards wants to make money. That's the bottom line. So I think the answer is Wizards wants/needs collectible cards because they want cards that like the collectors will buy, and those cards need to be kind of pricey. In the past, the collectible cards were also the game piece cards because it was just all in one, right? You only had foil and non-foil, so the most expensive thing was just a foil that you would get in a normal pack. Now we have so many more options. I feel like it's kind of a good way to monetize the game, though. Awesome! Welcome to the Fishbowl. Man, our opponent is... We've been really good at drawing Overlords of the Boiler Biggles, I will say. We are really good at drawing Boiler Biggles today. Boiler Biggles your face. Found it down to 16. Yuna coming. Are we done? Not yet. Hushwood Verge. Yuna. Hope of Spira. End of turn. And opponent scoops it up. I don't like when they only have full art versions of cards. I just want the normal border versions for my deck. That's actually funny. I don't really like the borderless treatment that much personally. Not a big fan of the borderless treatment. Honestly, what bothers me way more is like the Sonic layer drop or like the exclusive cards in time limited layer drops. I still think that's a big problem or will be a big problem potentially at some point. That is something I'm really concerned about. Collector booster box prices, yes, I wish they were cheaper. The cheaper, in general, the cheaper the better for players. So I'm always going to be like, yes, I wish they were cheaper, but I don't think that they're actually like having a huge negative effect on the game. When I think that Sonic secret layer drop or X-Men secret layer drop or stuff like that, I think that actually can have an impact on the game. I remember saying before, yeah, print uglier versions of cards. If that's the problem that the artwork is too good, print ugly versions. Really, give me a stick figure version that costs 20 cents of like Jason Mind Sculptor or whatever, VV, and I'm fine with that. I would love an ugly version that was intentionally priced super cheap if that's what it took to to get the game pieces cheaper. Oh, Box Stopper, yeah. Wizards is very good at learning lessons and then a few years later forgetting that they learned a lesson and then immediately relearning that lesson. I think that's what we saw with Nexus of Fate was Wizards learned you shouldn't do promos in that way. And then they learned that back with Nalathani Dragon in like the 90s. But they learned that they shouldn't do... We don't even know what our opponent's doing. They learned that they shouldn't do promos that way, and then they ended up doing the same thing 20 years later, and it went predictably poorly. Yeah, whatever, let's try it like that. I like no, spoiler stream has not started yet. It is either starting in 15 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes. You never know with Wizards. It used to always be noon, but then it's been a little scattershot lately, so I'm actually not sure if it's starting at noon or 1 Eastern. Yeah, sounds fine. We got a Boiler Biggles. So life is good, don't it? Hushwood Virgin, Ghost Vacuum. Ooh, we didn't really bring in many answers for that. That's kind of awkward. That is a smidge awkward. Yeah, I know. All the new spoilers are kind of technically-ish leaks. So we decided we're gonna wait for the stream because if we just go through them all now, then we won't really be able to watch the stream. Well, that's not really worth it. Let's just play a FOMO. And I guess we just pitch the Esper Origins? And we're never getting rid of both of those, right? We're going to have to play this fairly. I mean, I guess at 6 mana we can do both. Yeah, let's just pitch Dredger's Insight. It's not going to be good against double Ghost Vacuum. Would you move the Commander exclusive cards that are in collector boosters to the main set? Wait, just like in general? I guess you could. I don't know how much those Commander cards... In general, I don't think they do that much. I wish there were more cool treatments of those cards. Let's just grab a Mountain. I wish there was more cool treatments, because I feel like a lot of them are just like border extensions, right? And they don't actually look unique. If you're gonna reprint the Commander cards, give them like crazy new art or something. Commander players do love... Ooh, Bright Glass. Ooh, all right, sure. The stream should be on the WotC Twitch, twitch.tv/magic. So what have you been enjoying in? So opponent wants this to die. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna kill that for you. Ooh, Day of Judgment, interesting. Well, we gotta kill the Gear Hulk. Let's Impending Overlord. Impending Overlord, get a counter. Get rid of the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Play the land, smack you a bit. Alright, pass the turn. That was not bad. Hey Seth, what do you think of Esper Origins in Gruul Delirium? I think it might be kind of slow for what that deck's wanting to do. I think of Gruul Delirium as a very aggro deck, and I'm just not sure. I mean, maybe it's fine. The graveyard mode is really good. So if you can consistently get it in the graveyard, a 4-mana 4/4 is probably fine even in Delirium. I don't think you want to be casting the 2-mana mode very much in Delirium, would be my take. I can solve the problem. WotC should just sell singles, and people can register in a lottery to see who can pick up the purchase, only for special art variants. That might actually be a better system. You might be right that would actually be a better system. Well, let's play this land on... I don't even know. We'll just go Avatar. I guess it doesn't really matter. They don't have counters. So what we need to do is Esper Origins twice to get around these Ghost Vacuums. So Esper Origins. Are we going to lose to Ghost Vacuums? Hopefully not. Well, starting town graveyard. I guess we'll just keep the Verge. Actually, no. Graveyard. And then Esper Origins before our opponent can exile it. Number 2. Yeah, I think some sort of lottery system. Oh, Yuna's not going to do anything. I think our game plan is hard casting this Summon Knights of the Round. I don't want to give our opponent the... Yeah, we're going to just do it like this. We don't want to give our opponent the Yunas. Let's draw the land. Next turn, we can play the tap land. Actually, next turn, this makes 2 mana. Next turn, we can just Summon Knights of the Round. And just be like, can you beat it? Can you beat a Summon Knights of the Round opponent? Can you actually beat it? Hey, what's up, birds? Any chance to do a modern stream soon? It's been a while since you tried new cards in the format. We've done there's been a couple of YouTube videos. Do you want a modern stream? Possibly. There's definitely more modern that's coming up on the YouTube. I'm sure we'll do another modern stream eventually. I feel like Arena just looks so much nicer on stream, but you can't play modern. I've started to enjoy modern more. I've come back around on modern by giving up on modern. It took me giving up on modern, but then eventually I gave up on modern, and now I enjoy it again. Now that I've given up. Okay, I guess we just take it. Oh, I think we have to Wrath next turn, unfortunately. Opponent heads us down to 13. Yuna. Yeah, double Ghost Vacuum's rough for this deck. Well, let's... Day of Judgment. Blow it all up. Play the Elegant Parlor. Mill the Yuna. We can't keep holding Yunas. Yeah, we're just going to lose it. We need more artifact removal, apparently, because we're just going to lose these Ghost Vacuums. Fear of missing out. Boiler Biggles is not saving us. Not doing enough. Betrayed. Betrayed. Well, pitch the Yuna now. Asper Origin. All right, pass the turn. Yeah, the deck looks sweet, Spurts. I've actually been working on a Sorcerer Scheme Infinite Storm combo deck for a video. Did not end up with Emperor Palapine though. Although Emperor Palapine or Palamisia, the Emperor of Palamisia, that's way different. Didn't end up there, but that is a cool addition. Yeah, the combo's sweet. Pauper is fun. Modern, eventually what happened is I think I mentioned this before, maybe last stream, or I mentioned it somewhere, but I spent so long trying to play Modern without Modern Horizons cards because it just felt weird to me, and I was trying to like recreate Modern from pre-Modern Horizons, and I just ended up getting frustrated because my cool brews wouldn't do anything because the Modern Horizons cards were so much better than the other cards I was trying to use. So recently, I just gave up on all that, and it was just like, you know what? I'm just going to play the cards that exist. I don't care if it's for Modern Horizons, whatever. And Modern has become so much more fun since I gave up on trying to fight against Modern Horizons, essentially. That's essentially what happened. Yeah, I guess that's true. Getting down Mind Splicer a turn earlier is very powerful. Especially since you need it to tick up for a few turns before the combo works. Bound it. Drawing cards. I feel like we're kind of dead here. There's too many Dust Rose Reliquaries. Like, even if we play summon Knights of the Round. Well, that's Esper Origins. We're going to go back to this plan. Esper Origins. Milieu. Keep the Boiler Biggles. Opponent's at 18. As per Origins. I'm pretty close to actually just scooping. I feel like we're kind of just locked here. Where our opponent just, with all the Ghost Vacuums, they've just locked up so much that I'm not sure how we realistically beat Double Dusk Rose Reliquary. Cool to see the Phoenix Down combo. People have talked about that. Maybe we need Graveyard Hate, apparently. Well, get in with the FOMO. Untap it. That is basically yeah, how I learned to stop playing Love Modern Horizons. I don't know if I'd say I love Modern Horizons still, but now that I just accept Modern Horizons as part of the format, Modern has gotten way better to play. Have you guys seen the green bite spell that leaked at forces an opponent's monster to bite something? Pretty sure they forgot you control. I don't think I've even seen that card. Huh. Yeah, but baiting out the two... I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see. If Summon Knights of the Round somehow sticks, it could theoretically win us the game, but we're just losing. We're losing on literally every axis. We're losing on board, we're losing in hand, we're losing in hate pieces. Pick a thing that matters in Magic, and we're doing it worse than our opponent this game. Pretty much all of them. We are doing it worse than they are. Interesting to see Elvis Archivist. So it's not a card that I've seen anyone play. Yeah, we just want all the enchantment hate possible. That seems to be... Enchantment hate and graveyard hate, apparently, and artifact hate. Just anything that... I guess we also have some in our deck, and we just haven't drawn it. And eventually they're going to pop these Ghost Vacuums, and that's a lot of value. Jaguar, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super, thank you. Booking.com. Well, I do not see the WotC stream yet. So it might actually be another hour. We might have another hour to get in some games before spoiler time. Well, all right, let's play the Boiler Biggles. Get rid of the Bright Glass. All right, good enough. Royal treatment. What is going on with that deck? Okay, what do we actually want against this then? That went. I mean, I guess we really didn't sideboard because we didn't know what our opponent was doing. We definitely need some sideboard cards. Hostafarian in Fine Moonbow, first time sub. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big subscription, thank you. How are you, Hostafarian? It's been a minute. It's good to see ya. Wait, is clearing? Wait, what are we shutting down with Clearing Conquer? I guess Clearing Conquer would shut down the Phoenix down, and I guess the Ghost Vacuum until it dies. If we can find room, maybe. The question is, what are we going to cut? What can we actually cut? I guess we can trim some of the graveyard filling stuff. Especially against the graveyard hate. The Nissa seems great. Maybe we got to go down the Summon Bahamut. It's just so much mana if they're going to shut down our graveyard. Maybe like 1 Terra. Go down the Summon Bahamut. Try the Conquerors. Does Elspeth do anything? Not really. I guess it still just gets exiled. You know what? Let's run it like that. Let's run it like that. Been watching on my PS5 for an hour. I've catched all your videos all the time. First time I've catch you live. Love what you do and your energy. Keep doing what you do best. Hey, thank you, Dragon Master. Welcome to the stream. Good to see ya. Their YouTube live stream is scheduled to go live at 12:55. All right, so we have an hour. We have an hour to play Magic before the spoiler stream. I mean, we gotta keep this. We got to keep it. Can we put a land at the bottom and just trust the Esper Origins gets us there? It's so greedy, but I think we have to. All right, starting down, go. Hey, Seth, I dig your Teamer Battlecryer deck. Decided to merge it with a version of your Borgod deck in Pioneer. Really fun stuff. My God, they always have it. They always have it. All right, sure. Turn 1 goes vacuum again. What's my favorite Final Fantasy card? Ooh. Man, that's tough. There's so many cool cards in that set. Might be Choco, the Chocobo. I love the idea of Chocobo. I really do. Well, okay. Let's fear missing out. I guess we're gonna give up on this Yuna for now, since our opponent, a pro at drawing goes vacuums. Thankfully, we have this Nissa, which seems like this Nissa could do some serious work if we can get it down. Opponent, looking at the FOMO. Gonna blow up the FOMO with a Get Lost. This feels kind of bad. If our opponent untaps and ramps here, we're kind of far behind. Anyone cooking with Cloud and Aether Spark? I actually had an equipment deck as a backup for today. Oh man, okay. Well, I guess we gotta do it this way. Please find a land. Please. Dredger's Insight. All right, we will take the Portico. Play the Portico. Well, we found plenty of lands. I think we gotta mill. Man, I really want the Nissa, but yeah, we gotta mill it. All right, pass the turn. Is it just me or unofficial spoilers much more prevalent for this set versus the last few? Yes. I don't know why exactly. There's been so many, but There has been a lot of leaks for this set. The big amount today came from someone just publishing their article too early, which I guess is an understandable mistake. I feel like we've had that happen twice now, though. I definitely remember another set where someone posted their article way earlier than they were supposed to, and essentially leaked everything they were going to show off during the spoiler stream. I don't know why that keeps happening. I don't know why it keeps happening. Yeah, we are in a... the ghost vacuum makes things sketchy. We are going to have to get rid of the ghost vacuum. I was hoping to just get rid of it with the Nissa, but apparently our ability to draw lands is not that great. Oh, man. All right. Well, opponent, very good at drawing Bright Glass Gear Hulk, which is pretty much their best card. More Ghost Vacuums. Oh, opponent passes. Well, there's a starting town. Let's keep impending overlords. Is there even a point in killing this? They're just going to reanimate it with Phoenix down and do it again? Yeah, maybe we should have brought in Ghost Vacuums. Well, Overlord of the Boiler Biggles. This deck, our opponent's deck, is really grinding. I'm kind of impressed with how grindy this actually is. It's actually really hard to slog through. I mean, they also, I feel like, I guess with Bright Glass, they're going to be able to find the Ghost Vacuum if they want to. They also have just naturally had 2 Ghost Vacuums both games, which that is making our deck about 100 times less explosive. Yeah, we're pretty close to just scooping it up, honestly. The only thing we kind of have going for us is the Nissa, and I don't even think that's really that much. Because they just get back Bright Glass Gear Hulk and do it again. We can't even play Nissa if we want to cast other stuff. Well, okay. This feels so bad. Actually, no, they get it back. Ugh. Well, okay, let's get rid of the Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, our opponent just had layers and layers of hate. Yeah, apparently it's another hour until the spoilers. One thing I wish is that Wizards was better at that. My God. Half of the time they publish the time and it's incorrect. And then this time, they didn't even bother to publish the time in their spoiler article. It just says July 8th. So I really wish that they were better at being like, hey, at this time, we're doing this thing. That seems so easy. It seems so easy. I don't know why they're so bad at that. The things that Wizards are bad at is so funny to me. They're, in general, really good at hard things like making Magic cards. But then they're also, in general, really bad at things that seem very easy, like publishing what time your stream is going to be. Dipping back in his standard, found a fun Mardu deck by Power Dragon. Ooh, let me see. So opponent's going to get back to Bright Glass. We are going to bargain, get rid of this Elvish Archivist. I mean, I guess we'll keep the land. Found it. Bright Glass Gear Hulk Part 20. 2 more Phoenix Downs. Wow. All right, found it. Teething Wormlet. So what is our opponent's deck? Is this like a brew or is this a real deck? I mean, I've seen Bright Glass Gear Hulk decks before, but our opponent seems very committed to the 1 mana things to 2. Like, this is Bright Glass Gear Hulk or bust deck, really. Well, it turns out that Yuna's not very good if your graveyard gets locked down, and your opponent infinitely loops Bright Glass Gear Hulks. So we can play Nissa, blow something up. Doesn't, yeah, we're just gonna go next one. There's no winning from here. Mobilize, eh? Mishra, when we played Mobilize, Mishra was way better than I thought it would be. I was surprised at how good Mishra was. Yeah, Sephiroth's cute with with the tokens that you get from mobilizing. Yeah, that looks like a fun Mardu deck. I don't know about, oh, this is best of one. I was going to say, I don't know about strategic betrayal, but I imagine if this is a best of one deck, then it's probably just an attempt to get some graveyard hate in the main deck, even though it looks pretty clunky. But I guess it is necessary. Best of one. Yeah, whatever. Neutral. Currently 4-2 in a draft, an arena with towns. This limited is surprisingly fun. I've heard a lot of good things about limited. What is your favorite mechanic in standard that hasn't had a chance to shine? Ooh, that's a good question. I wish there was there's so many sets in standard now that I'm trying to think of like all the different mechanics. I wish there was a list. I wish there was a list of all the mechanics. It would make it so much easier to look at. Morning Bush, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup for you. Thank you. I wonder if this exists. I want a list of Magic mechanics by set. That seems like that should be. Why is that not a website that exists? I feel like that should be a thing that that exists somewhere, but apparently it does not exist. I mean, I guess is battles even a mechanic? Battles is a card type, right? Battles are definitely the most, if that counts, battles are probably the most disappointing. Just because of the amount of hype that went into them, right? Like, the amount of hype that went into them was so, like, new card type. Oh my God, we're making a new card type. And then it turned out that they kind of just felt like flip enchantments that weren't enchantments, and then no one wanted to attack them because it wasn't worth it. So I feel like battles are a pretty big flop. I know you're a busy man, but what are your odds of us West Coast folks getting a stream every so often that isn't so early? Maybe once a month we could start later. Oh, Jaguar, I will have to see. I'll have to see what I can do. Maybe we can figure out something. One land, one keep? I mean, if we get a land, man, we'll mulligan. We'll be responsible. We'll be responsible gamers. All right. This hand, I guess this hand's fine. Perhaps not super exciting, but fine. Yeah, I think making an entire mechanic around battles was probably. I feel like if you're gonna say we're doing a new card type, you really got to deliver. Because what card types in Magic suck? There's none, right? Every card type in Magic has some good cards. I feel like battles is the first mechanic that literally just the whole mechanic itself is so bad that you really just the mechanic kind of sucks in general. Those Schwartz, or they just went way too, like, you could make good battles. You could make battles that people would play, but maybe they'd be OP. Yeah, but battles definitely a disappointment. Boosh Awards. I mean, we're going to be able to cast the torch at some point. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super review. Thank you. The real reason to bottom it is, do we need 2 removal spells in our hand? And I felt like the answer was no. Although, if we're about to get countered, I think we go human. Let's go human. If this gets countered and we start missing land drops, it gets worse. Dredger's Insight. All right. Mill, find a land. Take the Verge. All right, we're getting there. We're putting it together. I think that Station is probably going to play better than we think. I mean, Station 20 or whatever, that's probably just impossible. But I actually think Station is probably going to play better than we think. It's hard for me to believe that they would make this new mechanic, make spacecraft legal as commanders, which is actually a really big change. I know it might not be big on the battlefield, but like normally you don't just change what is legal as commander. People have been asking for planeswalkers to be legal as commander, and then Wizards doesn't do that. So I feel like it's gotta play better than it looks. I have to think that Wizards like play tested it a bunch. I do wonder though, if how much of it's just like, do you think it's possible to build a Magic set that is primarily good for Commander, but also good in other formats. I think so much of what we see is just the pressure of that, in maybe the impossibility of actually doing that. Like, the numbers that would make sense for Station in Commander, they've got to be a lot different than the numbers that would make sense for, like, a good Standard card, and definitely a lot different than a good Modern or Legacy card. So it just seems so difficult. I don't know how Wizards does it. I don't know how Wizards make sets that work for everyone, if that makes sense. It just seems so difficult to actually do that in practice. Now let's play another Dredger's Insight. Do a little milling. Grab us a Yuna, I think. Trigger. Esper Origins. Mill the Boiler Big. Okay, keep the Verge. Well, I mean, Yuna can come down next turn. If we get to reanimate here, it's pretty good. Opponent land. Gets it. All right, if our opponent's going to leave up removal, we're going to Esper Origins instead. Let's just draw... Let's draw Starting Town. Gain a little life, get a 4/4. Draw the Starting Town, play the Starting Town, pass the turn. We want our opponent to tap down a little bit before we Yuna, because they're just leaving up removal so they can kill it through the ward. So if they're going to leave up all their mana to kill Yuna, we're going to try to punish them by not playing Yuna. Well, we get a couple of free manas. Let's Dredger's Insight. Number 3. We're going to gain so much life this game. Do a little milling. Grab a Verge. Go to combat. Get in, hit you. Down to 22. Well, let's play the Verge, Esper Origins. You assuming that Wizards does any kind of playtesting is giving them undeserved credit. We, the players, are in charge of that. I mean, I think Wizards does some playtesting, but I think it really depends on the format. Like, I think the amount of playtesting they do for... yeah, let's play the FOMO. The amount of playtesting they do for a format like Modern, I think, is very low, outside of maybe Modern Horizons, and even then, I don't know how much they really do. On the other hand, I do think they test Commander, and I do think they test Standard to some extent. Speaking of gaining life, we did some Soul Sisters thing yesterday, and it was actually pretty sweet. Well, make a little mana. Do a little flipping. Well, let's torch the tower. Get rid of the bat. Get back the torch the tower. Torch the tower. Get rid of the bat. Get back the Terra. And then Terra. Do a little milling. How close are we to cat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think we actually take it. Plus, we get to gain a bunch of life. Would you work at WotC if you could? Would you enjoy working at WotC, making Magic cards? Does that sound like something you would enjoy doing as a job? I'm actually curious. I feel like it might be one of those jobs that, like, sounds so awesome, but I don't know if I'd like it that much if I start doing it. If they'd pay me enough. Well, I have bad news. I have bad news about WotC and paying its employees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, okay. Well, we'll pitch the Summon Bahamut. No, we won't. We'll pitch the land. Opponent pitches Summon Bahamut. Okay. Bahamut's all around. Opponent plays the land. Well, we'll get some triggers. We'll make some manas. We'll play a Yuna. Hope of Spira. Go to combat. Smack ya. Opponent, gonna do a little blocking. Well, kill the Kefka, hit you. Down to 11. Esper Origins is winning us this game. Esper Origins, essentially by itself, is winning us this game. We have cast all 4 of them, and Summon Esper Modern's been pretty good. Well, get the Boiler Biggles. Boiler Biggles your face. Found it. Down to 7. Past that. We're up to 41. Do you think that Dawnsire Sunstar Dreadnought in Screaming Nemesis could be a thing? You would still have to station 10. Let me look up Dawnsire. Is this one of the... Ooh. All right. So chat, this is a leaked / unofficial spoiler card. So, if you don't want to see it, I don't believe it's part of today's spoilers, so it shouldn't mess up the stream. But if you don't want to see it, avert your eyes. Oh, do we win here? Oh, we lose one of them. Huh. Well, okay. We will match your Summon Bahamut with our Summon Bahamut. Blow up your Summon Bahamut. Hit you with our Esper Modded. Down to 1. We're a gut shot away. Actually, we're a Boiler Biggles away from closing out this game. Found it. Kefka Court Mage. Well, we will discard a Braid. So our opponent's just like Kefka Reanimator, I guess. We'll look at that. Let me finish this game and then we'll talk about Dawnsire. Because we're right at the end. We're about to hopefully close this out. Opponent Summon Bahamut returns. But our opponent's tapped down, and we have... we got Boiler Biggles. We got a Boiler Biggles. Boiler Biggles to the face, and opponent scoops it up. So the question was, Dawnsire Sunstar Dreadnought, could this work with Screaming Nemesis? So Dawnsire, a 5-mana spacecraft. You have to tap 10 plus power worth of creatures to give it, whenever you attack, it deals 100 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. And then if you tap 20 plus power worth of creatures, you get a 20/20 flyer. So could this work with Screaming Nemesis? It definitely could. Do I think it would be like a competitive plan? I would guess it's more of an against the odds plan. If you think through what you need to do, it's a hilarious kill, right? Like, you deal 100 damage to your Screaming Nemesis, which deals 100 damage to your opponent's face. Absolutely hilarious. I love Stuffy Doll style kills. But if you think about what you actually need to do, you have to play a 5-mana artifact that doesn't do anything. And then you need at least 10 power of creatures on the battlefield that you can afford to tap without actually dying to tapping all those creatures. And then you need to play the Screaming Nemesis and get in the attack with it. So I think it'll be a fun against the odds episode, a good meme card, but as far as being like a real deck in Standard, I would be surprised. I think it's probably just too expensive, too many hoops to jump through, but it does seem like it would be a funny video. Yeah, I just don't think decks that want Screaming Nemesis also want a 5-mana artifact that doesn't do anything. Like, that's kind of the spacecraft. A lot of them have what I would say is the Panharmonicon problem, right? Where they're very powerful. I guess we need a sideboard. Oh my god, we really need a sideboard. Ghost Vacuum's in. So it says Kefka Reanimator. Get lost in. Will go down. A FOMO, Dredger's Insight. And Esper Origins. Oh, 19 seconds. Maybe Torch the Tower didn't do that much. Exercise and maybe Chandra. Let's try it like that. Space-Time Anomaly going to be crazy mill finisher. How many times does it mill plus 20 plus? Space-Time Anomaly. Wait, what is Space-Time Anomaly? Space, is that another leak? Space-Time Anomaly. Let's mulligan. I think this is another leak. So if you're avoiding leaks, oh, okay, it is a leak. It's not the craziest card though. It doesn't give it away too much, I don't think. We will put a Verge to the bottom. Space-Time Anomaly. 4 mana, target player mills cards equal to your life total. I feel like this was built to go with Hope Estium. I feel like that was the plan, is to make this work with Hope Estium. This card isn't good. So in 60 card formats, it's 4, if you're full life total, 4 mana mill 20. I guess that's a pretty good rate. Like, Jace is what? 4 mana mill 15, and that's been a pretty good mill card. So I guess 4 mana Ghost Vacuum's not the worst hit here. So I guess 4 mana mill 20 is probably pretty decent. It is expensive though, and there's gonna be times when your life total is low. You really need to be like a Hope Estium deck, where like you're gaining life and milling. If you're doing both of those things, then I think it's actually a pretty solid card. But just in like a random mill deck, I think it's probably too clunky in a random mill deck. Let's take a Cavern. I feel like counters could be a thing in this matchup. In this mana matchup, opponent Ghost Vacuum. Sure, we will do Ghost Vacuum Wars. Opponent gets in with the Deep Cavern Bat. Well, we will play a Cavern on Human. And then I guess we play the Joshua. Discard the Portico, draw a card. Ugh, more starting towns. All right, pass the turn. Hope Estium has surprised me. Hope Estium has done way more than I thought it would. Yeah, we talked about... Oh, the Panharmonicon. The Panharmonicon problem is when you have a powerful card that's like kind of expensive, like a cheap card's a little bit different, but you have a 4 or 5 mana card that's very powerful, but it doesn't do its powerful thing until the turn after you play it. It's basically the biggest problem with Panharmonicon. I use Panharmonicon as an example because I've played so many Panharmonicon decks. Panharmonicon's nuts when you actually have all your mana and you untap and can play things with it. But you have to be able to spend 4 mana for a card that does literally nothing for an entire turn before you get there. And in some ways, Spacecraft have that problem on steroids, right? Where not only do you have to wait a turn, most likely before it does anything, but then you also need to jump through another hoop of tapping down a bunch of power worth of creatures to actually make it work. So that's kind of my concern with the Spacecraft in 60 card formats. Well, let's go to combat. Let's get in with the Joshua. Hit you a bit. Down to 19. How worried do we have to be about counters? Let's play the Verge. And play the Ghost Vacuum. Opponent, swing for 0. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big Soup Jerry, thank you. Do you think it's going to be worth playing high power creatures specifically to turn on Spacecraft? I feel like if you want to turn on Spacecraft, you can probably do it somewhat easily, right? Just by playing like, play the vanilla creatures that we got a little while ago. They just have way above the curve stats. I feel like something like that could actually kind of work. Opponent, Kafka. That is a good one. We'll discard the starting town. Opponent gonna discard a Bahamut. Well, we would like to end up with that Bahamut under our Ghost Vacuum. I'll play the land. Put it on Avatar. And I mean, I guess we just flip this? Yeah, I mean, I guess we just flip the Joshua. The downside of this is that means Kefka's going to get to attack, and that's not good. Opponent untaps. Yeah, this one I think is slipping away. We got 2 cards. Opponent has infinite cards. One thing I'm realizing about this deck is it does get a lot worse when there's graveyard hate. That's something that you... Oh boy, opponent found a way to do it. That's something you didn't really have to worry about too much with the Xur deck, because it didn't care about the graveyard. This reminds me of Xur Overlords to some extent, but Xur Overlords, that kind of gets wrecked by Oh my goodness. That gets wrecked by graveyard hate, opponent. Yeah, Yeah. But I'm gonna take something. And then we gotta discard the... they should have made us discard the Chandra, because, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. That increases our odds of drawing more cards. Syncopate discarded. Opponent gets in, hits us. Kefka, I told you! I told you that Kefka was an absurd card. I told you it was an absurd card. Y'all didn't believe me, but Kefka is an absurd card. I'll summon Bahamut in the graveyard. Exile it. We gotta take the risky line here because we're gonna lose anyway. Gain a life. Get in with the Phoenix. I mean, one way to play around Kefka is not having any cards in hand. If you got no cards in hand, Kefka can't make you discard him. Do you think that pilots will be errata to station to higher? Feels like pilots should be able to drive spacecrafts. Yes, that would make sense. No, I don't think they'll do it. They didn't errata any of the old pilots when they started doing mounts. And they made a bunch of cards where it seemed pretty obvious that, yeah, this one I think is kind of over. Well, we get to flip the Phoenix. Get back a Yuna, but we just don't have anything in our graveyard, and we have a land in hand. All right, save us, Joshua. Discard the starting town. We need something huge. Get lost. Okay, what does that mean? We are at 19. So we can Esper Origins. Man, if we can hit something for the Yuna. Well, I guess Fear of Missing Out's something. So mill the Fear of Missing Out. Grab the land. Play the land. And kill what? So if we don't kill this, man, we might just be dead, actually. So if we get lost to summon Bahamut, Kefka's still around. If we kill the Kefka, this blows... Well, I guess that's what we gotta do. So kill the Kefka. End of turn. Get back the FOMO. Gain some life. Draw land. But now the summon Bahamut gets to kill the Yuna. I mean, we actually went all the way through with Joshua, which is kind of hilarious. Land for our opponent. And more Kefkas. Never-ending Kefkas. Kefka's so good. Kefka, yeah. All right, we won't scoop yet. I'm so close. Deck list over. I don't know. Someone else said the deck list overlay was having issues. Exclamation point deck will get you to the deck list. I'm not sure why the overlay is having issues today. Can I show you my standard deck that has been inspired by your Doppelgang videos? I call it Doppelgang and Boardwise. It's been performing pretty well after the ban. So let me take. I do love some Doppelganging. Opponent killing all of our stuff. Flesh Gorger on top, growing their dorks. Goes. I mean, we need the top deck of the century, which I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what the top deck of the century would be here. Opponent hits us down to 18. Opponent. I feel like we've won every game that our opponent did not have Ghost Vacuum and lost every game where our opponent had Ghost Vacuum. I think it's as simple as that. Well, all right, we'll play this thing. Terra. Mill a couple cards. I'm going to summon Fenrir, gain a life. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. Huh. So what can we do about this? So they're just Kefka, Reanimator, somewhat controlling. Kefka reanimating big things. Lots of bats. How do we deal with Kefka? So we need to answer the graveyard. I don't know about Clarion. I feel like Clarion Conqueror. I just don't know if it does enough. It just doesn't doesn't hit on most things. Like, yes, you can't flip a Kefka or something, but I don't even think Kefka's generally worth flipping anyway. A lot of the time, like, the front side's so good that you don't even really want to flip it. What do we cut to bring in more removal? I'll go down. I really like Esper Origins. Esper Origins has felt really good. Summon Knights to the round. Well, Joshua felt good that game too. All right, maybe we go 2 towards the towers. Go down 1 Fenrir. Go down 1 Terra. And maybe we just got to go 1 Chandra. Let's try it like that. I think this deck goes hard in best of 1, but Graveyard Hate sideboard is just too strong. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues with best of 1, I think, is it's very easy to jank out best of 1 players just because of that in specific, that you can't really bring in Graveyard Hate. So I feel like Graveyard decks are way overrepresented in best of 1 compared to other formats. Well, let's just play the Parlor. Keep the starting down. Pass the turn. Here's my Yuna deck. 80% win rate in Diamond. Let me see what you're working with. Let's play the starting town. And I think we're just going to pass. This would be the... Well, I guess it doesn't matter. We got 2 removal spells. Let's Esper Origins. I was thinking this would be the bat turn, but we can deal with the bat either way. Mill a mountain. Actually, you know what? Let's mill a starting town. Mill a starting town, keep the mountain. Actually, no. Let's do it this way. Keep the starting town and the mountain? Okay, let's do that. Because then we can summon Fenrir to shuffle anyway. So let's play the starting town and summon Fenrir. Are we syncopating? Opponent. Gonna do some countering. Sure. Opponent. Play the land passes. Well, we'll play a mountain and actually play the Verge. Esper Origins. Well, mill and mill. We do not want even more lands. We have already had plenty of lands. Come on, deck. Something good. Ugh. The whiff with the exercise. Okay, that's kind of brutal. Opponent. Land. Getting close to that Kefka. The Kefka's coming. Yuna summon. So Joshua, ooh. Rita, eh? How's Rita felt? Opponent. The end to get rid of. That's not going to work, right? Because the backside is Summer Esper Modern. In our deck, they're Esper Origins, so I'm pretty sure they can look at our deck and they make a shuffle, but they can't actually exile the Esper Origins, which is good. So it seems like, okay, so this deck, your build seems like it's going very big. Lots of the big top end stuff. That seems like the biggest difference with this deck. 3 Summon Knights in the round. Summon Titan. I messed around with Summon Titan a bit. It's it's felt a little hit or miss to me. Let's play a Ghost Vacuum. Play the Mountain. Aye. All right, opponent. Land. Kefka, I'm sure. Kefka, draw 20 cards. About it. No Kefka? All right. Well, we will start exiling the graveyard. 26 minutes until spoiler. Oh, no, a Verge. Okay, we don't really need more lands. Magic Gods. Opponent untaps and land. And their own Ghost Vacuum. We are going to abrade the Ghost Vacuum. And there's the Kefka that we knew about. Well, in response, we will blow up the Ghost Vacuum. This Kefka's looking pretty nice. I kind of want one. So opponent's going to play the Kefka. We will get lost the Kefka. Ghost Vacuum the Kefka. And then I guess we have to discard the Exercise here. The opponent pitches some. Oh my god, some Bahamut. Well, there's a Boiler Biggles. Well, step one. Actually, I guess we can wait. Let's play the land. Boiler Biggles. 4 to the face. Pass the turd. Man, if we can crack this Ghost Vacuum and get a Summon Bahamut and a Kefka, that's a lot of value. Opponent, land. Can they kill the Ghost Vacuum? That is a real question. Messing around with Summon Titan in a go big deck with Ancient Adamantios and Gold Vein Hydra. Ooh, yeah. I'd love to see opponent gonna kill the Boiler Biggles. And passing, well, exile the Bahamut. How long do we wait? Do we crack it? We gotta wait another turn. We're gonna be greedy. Don't blow it up. Don't draw any Noah Braids, please. Opponent, Fabled Passage. Cracks it. Land. Deep Cavern Bat. Well, we will torch the tower. Opponent's passing. Well, exile the Boiler Biggles. Oh, summon Bahamut. Oh, we gotta do it. No, okay, the problem is this does kind of turn their reanimation back on. But we get a Kefka, Bahamut, and a Boiler Biggles. We gotta do it, right? We have to. How do we not do it? Yeah, right. We're going to do it. I don't know if this is 100% correct, but we're going to do it. Ghost Vacuum. Crack it. We will blow up your map. Or to your face. Discard the Bahamut. Ooh, draw 3 cards. Oh, that was pretty good. Opponent untaps. Ghost Vacuum's such a good card. About it. Just a land. It's just a land. Opponent passes. Okay, get rid of that map. Out of here. Play a Terra. Do a little milling. Snag a Boiler Biggles. Play the land. Go to combat. Attack ya. Pitch the FOMO. FOMO double triggering Kefka is so good. So we still get the draw 2 out of it. Find another FOMO. Hit ya. Down to 6. Down to 5. Play the... Oh, we can't play the land. All right, we're just going to do it. Overlord. To 1. To 1. Better than Kefka? I think we did it. I think the Ghost Vacuum might have actually won. Hey, what's up, Trainer Blue? How are you? Good to see you. Well, Boiler Biggles. Down to 1. All right, opponent. Got him. Oh, that went pretty good. That went pretty well. This deck's kind of sweet. I enjoy this deck. I think this deck's pretty sweet. Plus, we get to play Overlord of the Boiler Biggles. Hey, Seth, for Final Fantasy, they should do like they did for Lord of the Rings. Have a second wave of collector boosters, the holiday release. Remember, they no serialized cards, but introduced the scroll frame, had movie poster chase foils, and even a few new cards from the scene boxes. It's crazy that a collector box of standard cards would cost more than twice what a collector box of modern cost 2 years ago. The price is definitely ridiculous. Why would that? Oh, man. I think that people are off base when they think the serialized cards is causing the prices to be high. I don't think the Chocobo is the reason that prices are high. Like, I'm sure it contributes a little bit, but your odds of opening a Chocobo are so incredibly low that I don't think it actually has a meaningful impact on prices. It's like, I don't know if you ever been to Magic on Vegas or ever been to a casino. You see like a slot machine, right? You see a slot machine, and you know that mathematically there's laws about how much the machine has to pay out. So like it's going to give people back 95% of what they bet, 96%, 94%, something like that. And that makes you think, oh, okay, that's actually not bad, right? Like if I put in $100, I'm going to get like $95 back. That's like almost free entertainment. I'm spending $5. That sounds awesome. But what you don't consider is like, you don't consider that the serialized card is roughly equivalent to like the jackpot. And hitting the jackpot is incredibly rare. Your odds of getting $10,000 or whatever the grand prize is so low that it actually skews the math. And it means most people come away losers, even though there is going to be that one lucky person that someday eventually hits the jackpot. But I feel like it actually doesn't have that big of an impact on the price of the collector booster boxes. If there was no serialized chocobo, I think prices would be about the same. So I actually don't see the downside of doing more serialized cards. Like, why not do a second print run of collector boosters and just add another serialized card to it? What would go wrong if we did that? Let's try a game with the Cloud equipment deck. I don't know if we can get through a whole game before spoilers with this one, so let's switch over to the Boros equipment, because I think that'll be a faster game. Do you think we'll see this with Spider-Man? That's the other thing. I don't know if you saw... I don't know if you saw the prices of Spider-Man. Look at this price chart on TCG. Look at this price chart. So this is Spider-Man Collector Booster Box. Right now, a Spider-Man Collector Booster Box, $750 roughly, $746. If you look at this, it was $550. Staying pretty steady forever, for as long as it had really been announced, right? Going back to when we first saw Spider-Man cards, I guess there was a brief time where maybe it was a little cheaper on the first day, but really, and then Final Fantasy came out. Final Fantasy boosters spiked to the moon, and they raised the prices of Spider-Man boosters. That can't be real, right? There's no actual demand here. It's not like we got some new spoiler that's worth a ton of money or saw a serialized card that everyone's trying to get. This is just Final Fantasy prices went up and people were like, you know what? If people pay $1,200 for Final Fantasy, I bet they might pay $750 for... I bet they might pay $750 for the Spider-Man set, and apparently it's working. Edge of Eternity pre-orders on Arena? Were they up? It's almost time. It's almost time. It is almost Edge of Eternity time. Let's get down Freya. It's just people gambling. And it's not even like a good gamble, I don't believe. Like, mathematically, I guess that's true of most gambling, but I don't think mathematically it's smart. I think the biggest issue with collector booster box prices, because I don't think that collector booster box prices are really, in the grand scheme of things, like that big of a deal. But I do think they are a big deal in one way. And I wish I had brought this up in the podcast yesterday. But I think the biggest deal about collector booster boxes costing so much money, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it has it leads to a big negative perception about the game, where people think the game is more expensive than it really is. And I think that's a bad thing. I think that's the negative implications, ramifications that we get from collector booster boxes, is just like, if you hear something about Magic, it's probably going to be, oh my God, they got this new Final Fantasy set and it's ridiculously expensive. And I don't think that's like the message we want to send to people, is like, oh, Magic, that's the game where booster boxes sell for 3 times as much as MSRP or something. Like, that's, oh man, I don't think that's very good messaging. The moment I saw a TikTok of some guy hawking Pokemon boosters from the trunk of an Audi R8 for 10x MSRP and justifying it by saying everybody eats, I knew hobbyism was doomed to burn out. I feel like Magic's like kind of trending a little bit more that direction. It's definitely way worse with Pokemon. We haven't gotten all the way to the Pokemon stage yet, but it's getting closer. Man, I wish I could kill this hammer skull. I guess we can just swing into it. Maybe we do that. Let's just go to combat. Actually, I guess we can play Das Boots. Let's play Das Boots. Das Boots on Das Bladehold War Whip. Is our opponent just playing Gruul Dinosaurs? Is this just a fair dinosaur deck? I hope the game doesn't become a Sculptor Nightmare like Pokemon. I mean, I think we're on that path. It hasn't gotten as bad as Pokemon, but we're not that far away, I don't think. Well, get in with the double strikers. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Did not exactly expect that. And an early GG. You... Chat. Seriously now. Look at that. That hand. They had 3 cards. Exactly 6 mana. And their 3 cards were Smuggler, Surprise, Vaultborn Tyrant, and Tally. Oh, God. Do you think can equipment actually be good? I feel like if Cloud in Final Fantasy does not make equipment good in Standard, then equipment's it's doomed. It's doomed. It's never coming back. That is my guess. If this isn't enough, then what is enough? Equipped creature has flying. Flying seems kind of relevant. I don't even know if Pyroclasm is... I feel like we just need to keep them from casting the big dinos. Keep the mana dorks off the battlefield. Rebel Salvo is kind of sketchy since it doesn't even kill the big dinosaurs. Destroy Evil is probably better. Maybe something like that. Yeah, let's try it like that. Yeah, Corey Steelcutter doesn't even I mean, I know it is an equipment, but Corey Steelcutter doesn't really feel like an equipment deck to me. That is a lot of boots. I think we're going to mulligan Bootron. All right, this, I guess, is sort of better. So this can ramp into this. What does this do? I mean, I guess we can just put a land to the bottom and be greedy. Yeah, let's put a land to the bottom and be greedy. All right, get down, Freya. Go. Spoilers. 10 minutes. 10 minutes we will be learning about Edge of Eternities. Land for our opponent and Llanowar Elves. I'll play the land and get down the War Whip. Pass the turn. I will eat my words in that Hammer Time is a real deck. That is true. Hammer Time is a real deck. Now let's play another War Whip. Kind of regretting putting that land to the bottom now. Pass the turn. Land for our opponent. Oh, another Hammer Skull. Opponent passes. Hell, let's play the boots. Put him on a War Whip. Get in, hit ya. Ooh, opponent's gonna trade off a Hammer Skull. Interesting. That probably means I got the really big scary thing in hand. Play Jorkadine. Equip to Jorkadine. Pass the turn. Yeah, this is, well, we lost game 1 to the Smuggler's Surprise. This is the same match. Game 2 of the match. And then after this game, it's gonna be spoiler time. We have finally made it. We have finally made it to spoilers. Oh, I'm very hyped for Edge of Eternities. That's gonna be so sweet. Do you remember a set, chat, where I've not said that? I would just say, do I always just say that I think the set feels sweet to me? Do you remember a set where I was not excited for it? I was just thinking about that today. Maybe I'm just always excited for new Magic cards. Has there ever been a set I was meh about? There's gotta be. There's gotta be somewhere. Well, let's play the Buster Sword. Equip the Buster Sword. Go to combat. Attack ya. The Bladehold War Whip's been good. Wow, opponent. All right, opponent's just all in on the Smuggler's Surprise plan. Jumps with the Hammer Skull. Well, put it on the Jorgadine. All right, pass the turn. Could really use another land. Land for our opponent. Wow. Flips Hawatli. Gonna make a couple dinosaur tokens. Now play the land. How do we do this? How much does this cost to equip? 4? And this costs 5? So I think we do it this way. Move it over. Hit ya. Trigger Buster Sword. Put a Cloud into play. Cloud. Tutor up Chainsaw. Chainsaw. Kill the dino. And then equip. All right, pass the turn. I mean, we built a big cloud. We built a pretty big cloud. Land for our opponent. Yeah, Lava Spur Boots has been very impressive. I've seen other people playing. Man. Opponent. Mills gets back a Carnosaur. Carnosaur Pellini Hatcher into play. Triggers. Eggs. Spins into Smuggler Surprise. Not very good if you're, yeah, casting it without Spree. I wish this had Trample. Opponent, Intrepid Paleontologist. Saxon Egg makes a 3/3. Cloud's getting bigger. Inspiring Vantage. Are we doing the same thing? Is that our only... Is our only plan to just keep putting this on the flyer and chipping in for little damage and hoping for the best? They get to tutor up a dino next turn? I'll equip the Buster Sword. This doesn't feel great. If only we could be getting in with the Cloud and double triggering stuff. We need the Samurai Katina on it, but we don't have the mana. That's the issue. Equip 5 is so much. And we don't even have the mana to give this double strike, or we get 2 triggers. Gain control target creature until end of turn. Untap it, gains haste. You may attach any equipment you control to that creature. Ooh. Wait, does this have trample? Oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know what? You know what? New plan. New plan. Let's yoink your Carnosaur. This is actually kind of hilarious. Come to us, trumpeting Carnosaur. This is actually kind of sweet. We found trample on our opponent's side of the battlefield. Oh, the opponent scoops it up. Oh, they scooped it. Okay, lightning mode because spoilers are just about to start. We have 4 minutes and 36 seconds. All right, here we go. Lightning mode. Lightning mode. Lightning mode. Lightning mode, and then spoiler time. Can we win in 4 minutes and 18 seconds before the spoilers start? That is the question. That was actually a pretty funny kill, too. Maybe our opponents just... Maybe they actually left. They were kind of timing out. Okay, opponent's back. Oh, I can't keep that one. All right, this will try. This will try. We got the Lava Spur Boots. We got a Jorkadine. Let's do it. We will put the Samurai Katana to the bottom. All right, game on. Let's go, Dinos. Opponent, land, and land nowhere else, unfortunately. Well, land. Ooh, double Jorkadine. Let's play the Lava Spur Boots. Pass the turn. I think this Star Trek is actually likely to happen. I feel like this set might be breaking the ground for a future release of something like that. About it. It's funny if you leave the Buster Sword attached to the Carnosaur and they attack you so good that... Wow, that is a really, really fast Nissa. Man, yeah, that's... Was that turn 3 7-mana Planeswalker? I feel like that was turn 3 Nissa, and... And that's kind of an issue. Jorkadine coming through though. Oh wait, I didn't read that. When it attacks, it gets +X until turn, where X is the number of equipped. Oh, okay, that's actually way better. That's way better than I thought it was. Let's play the land. Let's play Blade Hold War Whip. For Mirrodin. Go to combat. Get in with the Jorkadine. They have 6 mana. They could Smuggler's Surprise. They seem to always have it. 2 minutes. 6 seconds. Until spoilers get it hit ya. Alright. We're hitting our lands this game, which is nice. Oh, found it. Takes it down to 11. Well, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. 1 minute 46. I feel like I'm racing the Moto clock. Bone Horde Rakosaur. Good card. Opponent passes. Well, let's play the land. And, yeah, we gotta move. Actually, I guess we can play Kemba. Play Kemba. Equip the War Whip. Move over Dust Boots. We're gonna run out of time. This game's taking too long. Go to combat. Get in with the Kemba with double strike. Oh, that has first strike. Oops. All right, we're not going to be able to finish anyway because it's spoiler time. Well, I think the deck seems kind of interesting, the equipment deck. You're going to have to mess around with it more. All right, here we go. Here we go. It's time. It's time for spoilers. All right. Arena, you got to go away. Oh, are we going to make it? 19 seconds. 19 seconds. All right. Arena goes away. Avert your eyes. And, all right. Spoiler time. Spoiler time. Here we go. How's the audio levels? How's the audio levels? How we doing? Edge, we made it just in time, too, literally. Oh, okay. Trailer. It's a bit loud. All right, let me turn it down. How's that?
There's nothing beyond what is known. But I
Man, the outer space art looks so sweet.
I took the opportunity to forge my own destiny.
Why is Tezzeret in space? I'm not complaining, I'm just curious.
Make the stars tell me their secrets and bring these planets to their knees when I know everything.
Oh, is Tezzeret trying to conquer the universe? Yeah, I know. How are they all in outer space and just breathing like it's no problem?
Creation will be within my grasp.
Edge of Eternities. I mean, trailer's a B, I think. I feel like trailers
swirling with colors,
they peaked at
full
War of the Spark
battling
and Eldraine.
spaceships. It's star nebula far, far away.
This art's so
It's a
good
beautiful
though.
place.
To me, I mean, like, as
Andrew.
a human being, space is the final frontier, and as a Magic designer, space has always also been the final frontier because we've never done anything before like this.
It's not like a small place.
Didn't
we
they
haven't been
do an
before. It's
unset
really huge
of space
so
not that long ago?
unknown.
The Edge of Eternities
Flourishing.
is
Is the set
really
flourishing?
at the edge of the multiverse.
The way that our amazing world-building team has explained this to me is if you imagine the multiverse like an orange, the edge is the rind. So it's this thin layer on the very outside of the Blind Eternities.
And it's a little peek into a part of Magic's lore that
There-
has kind of been
there's some
known
people
for
that I
a long time,
recognize
but
here.
also has
There must
been
be some
very
new WotC
unknown,
staff.
this Blind Eternity space.
We weren't bound by any of the normal restrictions that we often have when we're returning to an old Magic plane that has a specific mechanical identity. Here, it's like, we're going to space. We've never been to space before. There is infinity exciting stuff to do here.
It's not just that anything can be out there. It's kind of that everything is.
We're in uncharted territory. We are expanding what anyone can imagine that Magic the game can be, that Magic the worlds can be.
Whenever Magic goes to a new kind of setting, there's this enormous untapped well of concepts that we've
why
never
do some
done
of them have
before
space
that we
helmets
get to
and then a
explore.
lot of them
What
don't?
it
That does
means
not
to
make any
have
sense. Yeah,
planets,
it's like
what it means
Infinity
to have
doesn't
ships,
exist.
And kind of
Psycho
creating
Square,
those
welcome to the
things in the
Fishbowl. Thank you
language
for your
of Magic.
subscription.
So
Thank you,
there's
thank you,
a
thank you, thank you.
storyline happening while a lot of stuff is also happening in the background. So the main
Ooh.
storyline follows
Yeah, Affinity's probably got some potential.
Sammy and their crew of misfits.
And the whole system here is revolving around a void called Sothera.
There is a faction of
That art's just
monks
so
who
sweet.
worship this black hole and are trying to feed it and
Okay.
eventually have it consume the entire universe.
The super void at the center,
Wait.
as well as 5 planets, and each of
They're
those
trying
5
to make
planets
the
are
black
aligned to a
hole
different
consume the
color
entire
of mana in Magic.
That is a
and all of those 5 planets sort of express
interesting plan.
their identity through what that color is about.
And that's something that we really wanted to do with Edge of Eternities, was to really get the sense of this large scale, like space opera. We wanted it
Starfield
to feel
vocalist.
We get to
Oh my
tap
god, it's so
into
fast.
Our vision
It was a
of
4
outer
drop, I know
space, right?
that.
Like, physics doesn't apply to Magic.
Planets don't necessarily have to be round. You have
Zach
planets here that have
Stella.
like turned into like corkscrew shapes, or some of them have like holes through the center of them, or blasted into
Is it a
bits, but they're still
Panharmonicon?
keeping their shape in orbit.
In a science fantasy
It
set like
popped
this,
up too
scale
fast to
is
even
such an
read.
important thing.
Space is big.
I didn't get past
so
the
we
mana
kind of
cost.
let loose with the numbers a little bit, found ways to get double-digit numbers onto cards.
Maybe even bigger than Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, but I'm not going to
Huh?
spoil that yet.
Wait.
Even when we go to a new place, we want to connect to Magic.
We decided to put a lot of lands.
We're
in
getting
the
something
set
bigger
to
than
really give
Emrakul? Is
players
that what
a
they
chance
said?
To like have the
They
full
still have not topped
experience on
Emrakul as
table in their
the
battlefield
biggest,
with this
baddest
new
thing you've
setting.
seen to
I was
play.
really excited when I
15
started
years
to work
later.
on the set to see that Tezzeret, our old friend, the evil artificer, was in the file. It's such a perfect
I mean,
setting
Tezzeret's
for him.
Tezzeret's
Tezzeret's
busted.
here. Tezzeret got.
I don't know
little
why
bit of a
Tezzeret
facelift.
ended up in
He's looking
space
pretty
exactly, but
badass.
Another
Tezzeret,
great
that
way
card's
that
so
we
good.
connect Magic and the Edge of Eternities is through creature types, right? Kavu are returning, for fans of Kavu out there. Slivers, of course. I know there's so many fans of Slivers, Eldrazi. You see
That
these
card,
creatures that you've
anti-cultural
seen on
vestige.
Dominaria
My God,
and
that
the
card's
other
insane.
planes of Magic,
6 mana,
but
7/5.
now
When
we've
it
brought them to
leaves
the Edge of
the
Eternities.
battlefield,
One of
you
my
draw a
favorite
card, put
cards in
something
Magic
into
is
play
Tarmogoyf. Now that I was working
with
on the
mana
space set, I
value
could
less
live
than or
my
equal to the
reality
number of
of
lands you
Tarmogoyf
control, and then it has the
space.
warp thing. That card's so.
And that just, really captures the feel of, hey, we are in outer
They
space
even have
now.
the
All right,
Octons
what
Run
is,
reference in
outer space
recommended
version of a
action
Lurgoyf?
run.
So from the onset of trying to design Edge of Eternities,
They can't
I
resist
always
to throw
knew
in
that
some
I
of
wanted
those
the
memes.
large common flyer to be
Ooh.
a space whale. They're in so many different kinds of media,
There's
and I always
like
find it
a
so silly yet so
Futurama
awesome
episode
at the
about
same
that.
time.
Look, it's a flying whale. That's really cool.
There are so many named characters and so many named factions and so many different kinds of ships and different kinds of planets. And
Some of
really
it looks
gives you
kinda
the
Star
sense that
Warsy,
you're
and then some
living
of it
in a
looks like
universe that
Futurama.
is more massive than you could have ever imagined.
Like, I've not seen any of these yet.
So excited.
Yeah, it'll be
Wow.
awesome.
I love the way the space dragons turned out.
Yeah, space dragons.
They actually just opening packs on
Other
on
Cosmogoy
stream.
recommended action, run. Well, you just need to open some more packs.
I'm working on it. I'm going slow. I'm savoring it. Exactly.
As someone on the world building team, it's always really exciting to be able to bridge that gap between the world building we've done and the mechanics we see on the card.
When you're saying, hey, we're doing an outer space world, like, of course you're going to have planets. Of course you're going to have spacecraft. It's science fantasy at its heart and bringing that to life.
So to me, space is about exploration and being an optimist about what I could see. It's also about the vast amount of distances required to
Wow,
travel.
the forest
the
looks so
scale,
good.
the size, look how big these things are.
Just like
while
the
also
lands. I
having
just want the
harsh
lands,
reality
'cause
of
the
space
lands
being
just look so
extremely
cool in
unforgiving,
space.
and it's dangerous. And
I
you
would
have
buy-
four
I would buy
mechanics in the set
Futurama
that
Secret
each
Lair
reflect
drop.
one of those things.
So
I mean,
station is
isn't
our
there a
mechanic
Zoidberg
that
in this
is
set?
kind
I'm
of
pretty sure.
representing the huge objects.
Oh, we
in
already talked
space.
about
There are
this
two
one.
new subtypes in
The
Edge of Eternities.
Siramia.
There's spacecraft and planet, and at certain thresholds, that permanent will do special things. If
What do you
it's a
think about the
spacecraft,
planet
it'll be a
land?
big creature.
I'm
and if it's a
so
planet, it'll
torn.
unlock an awesome
Surasa
ability.
Sun
The
Evolve
mechanic
Void Alter.
works similar
Enter stab,
to kind
make
of
black.
vehicles or mounts
You have to
where you
tap
are
12
paying
power
in your
creatures.
power at
And then you have a
sorcery
land that
speed
is
to
pay
kind of
2
turn
tap,
them
pay
on.
2 life,
But
sack a creature,
unlike
draw a card
those,
equal to the
you
sack
are
creature's
gathering
power.
counters over time until you reach a
The
threshold
effect is
and
so
unlock the
good.
abilities
Like
on
the
the card.
effect is so
Here's a big,
strong. I
splashy
just don't know
new
if it's gonna be
mechanic
worth
that gives you a
charging them
sense of
up. Like
enormous
that's
scale.
You put
that's
all
the
this
question.
effort
Like,
into
is
it,
it
but
worth
now that
outside of
power
Commander,
is
where
at
I think
your
it is
disposal,
definitely
so
worth
really
it, but
fun
in
feeling.
60 card
Of course,
formats.
with land being
We
such
really
an
gotta play with
instrumental
it.
part
This
of
is
a
one of those
fun
mechanics
game,
where I feel
wanted
like
something to
we
capture,
really need
once
to be
again,
able to
this
play
feeling of
test it.
discovery, right?
Lands
'Cause
are
I just can't shake the
representing
feeling it's gonna be
exploration of new
easier than
places,
we
which is
think.
really core to the genre.
When I
and
hear the number
artifacts
12,
are
I'm like,
representing
that's so
technology.
much.
And the lander is really the marriage of those two things.
Ooh, Lander
Lander is a new
tokens.
token that we're introducing.
I hope
All
we
you
get
have to
Lander
do is pay
tokens
2
outside
mana
of
and
green.
sacrifice it, and then you search
Like
your
if we
library
get
for any
blue
basic land
Lander
and put it onto the
tokens
battlefield
or
tapped.
red Lander
It is kind of
tokens,
similar to other token mechanics
then
that
I
we've
think it's
done,
really
like
good. In green, it's
clues
kinda
or
like
treasures.
whatever.
In the set, it ties
But it's
into
essentially artifact
landfall
token
as a
lets
returning
rampant
mechanic,
growth.
and letting you
In
make
green, we have so many
multiple
ramp
land drops and
spells. It's
really
kind of like,
playing
sure,
with that
okay, another way to
theme
ramp
of
in green.
discovery
But if they
and
actually
exploring new
expand this
stuff.
out into
And then
other
we have the
colors, it
warp
could actually be a
mechanic
pretty
to
big
really
deal.
evoke how far
Yeah,
people
the
have
red
to
one
travel in
sucks, but
space.
yes,
Light
we
speed.
did.
They show up, they're gone.
We did
Warp
see
is
a red one
mechanic
technically.
that allows you to
Starfield
play
Shepherd.
the card from your hand
5
for
mana
its
3/2
warp
flying.
cost, and then you
Warp
get
it
it
for
temporarily.
2.
You have it
So you
for
can
this
cast it
turn
for
only. At
its
the end
warp
of turn,
cost.
it
Exile
leaves,
at end of
goes,
turn,
hangs
cast
out
it
in
later.
exile, and then you
When
can
enters
pay
search your
the
library
full
for a
retail
basic planes or
version
a creature
later
card with
on.
mana
It's
value
kind of
1
a
or less,
variant
reveal it, put it in your hand, then
Adventure
shuffle.
or similar mechanics like
That
that.
actually
except
seems
here
pretty
you are
good.
playing the same thing twice.
2 mana
And so
to
it warps in. Those will
Ranger
have
Captain
enter
of Eos
effects,
Tutor,
which are
or grab a
typically good,
Plains.
and then it
The
works
5
out
mana
for
mode's
you
kind
to
of
cast it
expensive,
later.
but the warp
And
mode
then
seems
that
good.
combos so well with
That seems like a
Void
pretty
because
solid creature.
Void is a very straightforward mechanic.
Tragic
that says, hey, when
trajectory.
things leave, I give
One
you a
mana,
reward.
target creature gets
So
negative 2,
Void
negative 2
is a
until end of turn.
mechanic that cares
Void
about things leaving
gets
the
negative 10,
battlefield,
negative 10
or if you have
instead
warped a card
if
this turn.
a
It checks
non-land
both
permanent
of those things, and it's
left
just
the
a pretty
battlefield this
clean
turn or a
upgrade
spell
if
is
you
warped.
manage to make your stuff leave
Non-land
the battlefield before you play these
It's
cards.
such a
Really
huge
powerful,
drop
really
of power in
straightforward,
older
makes for
formats.
some really
When I
fun
first saw
combos.
that
This
card,
is the
I was
Edge of
like, oh my god,
Eternities.
they
This is what
powercraft
Magic
Fatal Push.
means
Then I
Units in
realized it was a
outer space.
sorcery, and then I realized it
right,
said
Here
non-land.
we go.
And I was like, oh no, that
The
card
Surima.
actually
You got the
is
Surima?
very
Get it.
much worse than
Good
Fatal
looking
Push.
ship.
I could still
Did
think
you
it could be
find
good
when
in
you worked with
standard,
artists
in
on the
some
set
sort
that
of
they
warp
were,
style
like,
deck.
super
It could
psyched
be
for
very
it?
good in standard.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because they
Like-
hadn't been able to paint these things for
Yeah.
Magic.
Like way more than usual. We had people reaching out and being like, I want to be on the space set.
Yeah.
This
a lot
is
of our
such
artist
a-
pool doesn't normally get to work on space. Spaceships, planets, things that are large in scope.
You know, reaching out to them and saying like, "Hey, I have an assignment," and there was like rumors that the artists always kind of talk to each other.
This is kind of a
so they were
weird
like kind of waiting for it.
intro.
They're like, "Yes, it's finally here."
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had as large a number of the artist pool as excited to work on a particular plane. or
Yes,
setting
everyone
as
loves
this one.
space.
The booster fun is just so incredible. The colors that it brings to Magic.
The lands just hit differently here. I think like there's something about the vertical format that we don't.
I mean,
normally
they're
get
not
with a
wrong
regular
about
Magic
the
set
lands
because
looking
Here,
awesome.
space goes in all directions, so
I almost don't
it
even
plays well to that.
The funny
vertical
thing is,
card.
I don't even
There's
want
so
the
many
spacecraft.
like beautiful space vistas where
Like it's
you just see
fine,
the curve
but
of the
just like I
planet
just
on
like the outer
card, and
space
then you can see,
scenery.
like,
Like I don't
ships
even need the
fighting in front of
spacecraft in
it.
there.
There's
I just
little
like how it
spaceships
looks in
zooming
outer
through,
space.
and the team really knocked it out of the park, just bringing.
I'm kind of
lands
man
to life.
Void. I think Void is very
Whoa,
good with.
getting blue.
That's exciting.
That is so
And yes, I
beautiful.
guess it's good
We
with, like,
brought
treasure
in
tokens.
The Shocklands, which brings them into standard. Super exciting for that reason.
The borderless viewport
Standard
lands
mana is
were
gonna
this
get
moment
wild.
of you've just landed on a new planet and you're
Oh,
still on your
Shocklands
spaceship,
being
and
back is
the
gonna be so
doors
sweet.
opening, the ramp is descending. So we kind of incorporated the interior of the ship as the frame. But then the art is just this like window.
That
and
actually- I
who's
don't-
kind of framed. And
Do you like
looking
that
out the window
treatment?
becomes
I kind of the
exciting.
treatment.
Just
It
a lot
reminds
of really
me.
good storytelling opportunities.
Is that not just
So
a
we have a
Tarkir
cycle
Dragonstorm
of
treatment
returning
again?
lands here, and
They look
I
very
sort of
similar to me. They-
pulled some little
When did they
nuggets
decide
I
to do all
was
this
seeing
black
and
space
turned it
stuff on the
into a
cards?
consistent chronicle across
I
them
swear
that
that's-
basically just
I swear that looks like the Tarkir
explores moons.
Dragonstorm
Flavor
treatment.
text is a really fascinating storytelling tool. It gives you those
Where
little
is
windows
it?
into the world. I like the idea that it was a peek into a grander
I mean, I guess it's kind of
universe.
different, but
The
similar
flavor text really
idea
gives
of
you
just
the
like
sense of a world
the
that
whole
is
bottom of the card
enormously
is just
expansive.
When you
just
crack
black
open
with
a
the
pack,
text on
you
it.
can kind of land anywhere
It doesn't
in the
look
midst
bad. It just
of
reminds me a lot of
what's
Tarkir
going on.
Dragonstorm.
Check it out. I got Celestial Colonnade. Right?
Ooh.
Yeah, Borderless Stellar Sights card.
I love the
Turned out
font that
beautiful.
the title's in. It really
I am
captures that
excited
outer
for
space
the
vibe.
land
Yeah.
sheet.
Borderless
The land
stellar
sheet's
sights, what
a
we really
good
wanted to
one.
do was we wanted to reduce the footprint of the frame on the cards. We did that by taking the title.
It
down
looks
to the bottom
outer
half
space.
of
It
the
looks
card,
kind of
and then along the
futuristic and outer
sides with the
spacey.
frame, it's kind of like
I don't know about
a
the
star
font.
chart, giving you that explorative feeling
The
to
text
it.
is a
You get
little
all
bit
these, like,
weird,
cool,
but
crazy
I like
planetary
the
shapes and
art,
asteroids
and we should get some
spaceships
really
and
good
things
lands
that
out of
frame
it.
showcases very well.
Gemstone
And the
Caverns
borderless
is
poster
expensive,
stellar
right? Isn't
sights are
Gemstone
probably
Caverns
one of my favorite treatments
like
we've
50
ever
bucks?
done.
The roots of this art style
Gemstone
are these,
Caverns
like, travel
is
posters that kind of came out of the
roughly
1930s.
yeah,
It's
50,
just this really interesting
50, 60
juxtaposition
bucks.
of a kind of
So that's a hit.
anachronistic
Celestial
and
Colony
nostalgic
not worth
travel
anything.
poster style with the
Mana
super
Confluence
new
is-
and novel and futuristic
Mana
science
Confluence is
fantasy
like 30
setting.
bucks
that
too,
combination
actually.
is a little bit dissonant, but in a way that's really interesting and cool. And
Okay,
looks really
those are a
good.
couple of high
The
value
borderless
reprints. at
surreal
least.
space treatment definitely hits a lot of
Ooh.
that classic Magic vibe.
Argenity's
Honestly,
Charm
it's my
is
favorite thing I've worked on. At
Argenity's
Magic
Charm
ever.
is so
The art
good.
influences
3
behind it.
mana,
We
choose
dipped
one.
really
Exile a
heavily
creature
into kind of
Planeswalker.
1970s
Return
science
1 or 2
fiction
target
art. They're
creatures
so,
under
like,
Planeswalker cards from
surreal
graveyard to your
and
hand. Put 2 points on
ethereal.
plus
And
counters
especially
on
in
target
like
creature
such
you
a
control
bright
against
palette
lifelink.
that we have here.
It's so.
across
I saw
all the,
people
like,
trashing
galactic
that
clouds
card.
and
I
whatnot.
think
He was
Argenity's
just
Charm is
vibing with
actually
a lot of people in
incredibly
a way that I
powerful.
haven't seen before.
The borderless triumphant
such a good
cards
card.
were kind of a labor of love and a really fun idea we had. It's where someone is exploring space and they're like looking
Ooh,
out,
artifacts
and then
you
they're
control are
framed
food in
by
addition to their
basically
other
a circle,
types.
which could
They
be a
have pay
moon
to
or a
sack this
planet, and so
artifact, gain
each
3
piece
life.
has a very
Pay 1, tap
similar
it, sack of food.
composition.
Almost.
Look at that.
Almost got
You
through
guys,
it.
it's one of the borderless triumphants.
Oh, that's amazing.
Sack of
This is a
food, 3
lobster
damage to
chef.
each opponent.
So
Begin
see,
your
he's
end
tossing
step
his
if
little
you
mushrooms.
gain life this turn.
Lobster chef.
Because didn't you paint
Something.
one for the main set?
I did.
At the beginning
My
or end
favorite
step,
element of this
if you gain
painting
life this
is
turn,
he's got an
untap
extra
it.
pair of hands, so he's able
Artifacts
to
are
hold this
food.
sprig of time just like,
Interesting.
very daintily.
I like the idea of him serving up nuts and bolts style like food.
That
There's a
doesn't
Jell-O
look
that's
too
got, like, a whole
Zoidbergy.
rusty gear stuck in the top.
Having just little bits of levity oddity like that here and there, I think can be very good for a set. You don't want it to be too one note. Lobster guy making gross food, like Zach.
They go too fast to
Now
read
it's
them.
my
We'll
turn.
have to look up them on the site after. I don't know why they do that. They just go too fast to actually read the entire card.
Right? Amazing Sliver
Oh.
Overlord.
Stealing that from you in the parking garage.
I have not seen that.
I'll tell
Wait,
you
is that
a
a
secret about the
special
borderless special
guest?
guest cards.
Okay,
I would have
special
made
guest.
the whole set look like that if there weren't smarter people around me to like calm me down a little bit. But that pulp cover style, the idea
That
of
looks
people in the 1950s
like an old
what they
sci-fi
thought the
book.
future was going to look like, because really like the influence
does.
of the creature design.
I do like that. It looks like a
time
Secret
was
Lair
monster
card.
movies. People in suits like waving
Yeah, I
their
feel
arms
like,
around really awkwardly, and so like
this
the
is not
creatures are just,
the-
like, goofy and funny.
the
and,
craziest
all
set
the
intro
fun
they've ever done. It's
typography.
kind of
That series
tame.
is just one of my favorite things.
It's kinda
For
like
the Japanese
a
showcase
bunch
Fractured
of-
Foil. It was
Oh.
a really exciting opportunity to highlight the art, the more kind
Oh,
of
that
like
looks
anime flavored
okay.
art style.
The
that we
Fractured
use on those
Foil, that
cards.
looks the same
And
as
the
we've
Fractured
seen in
Foil is
past
perfect for
sets.
that because it's sort of really dynamic and really highlights the movement and the big monsters and all the excitement
it
that's
looks
going on in those
it looks
cards.
fine.
It's just
I don't
so
mind
bold
Fractured
to see it in a
Foil.
pack. Like you're immediately going to stop on that one when you open a pack.
I feel
And
like
Galaxy Foil is
Surge
back for
Foil I
this
like
set. It's
too.
kind of a no-brainer again. We knew from the beginning.
Ooh.
You know, it's such a fun effect. It's such a beautiful substrate.
That
And
looks
if we're in
like
space
that
and
land
we
is
can
so
have
insane.
Art have stars and
that
the
looks like a
substrate
land
have
that you
stars.
wow,
Like,
look at
it's
that
just
mana
such a
confluence.
fun,
Oh my
perfect moment.
goodness, that
I've
art.
never seen it look better, and fans are
Oh, it's
absolutely
so
going to go nuts
good.
for
So
it.
can I
The
just
lands
show
in this
this
set
one
are
off
so
just
incredibly
'cause
good. Do you think
the
the Angel's
lands turned
busted?
out
The
so
token
good in
doubling
foil.
Angel?
When they catch the light. Yeah.
Those are
Galaxy
lands that we
Foil.
would have gotten
Right.
in like
Little
a
swamp.
super expensive unset not that long ago.
Right. These look so good. Yeah.
They look so good.
To achieve
They are not
the
wrong that they
magic
look so
look
good.
in the art, really, like the way we do that is we work.
I think
with
the lands might be my
really
new favorite part of
incredibly
this
skilled
set.
Professional
Your throw, yeah.
artists.
Oh, we gotta
So
go.
many
We
of
gotta
them
go
are
through the
fans,
cards. They're
so
going
many
through them
of
way too
them are
fast.
Passionate. It blows my mind how
We will
many of
post
them
them up
there
as
are.
soon
It
as
seems
they
impossible to me that
they
so many
stop with their
talented
intro
people could
here.
work for this game. Karen, how long have you been painting for Magic?
For Magic, I think since 2005, around then.
So you did concepting for Edge of Eternities, right?
Yes, a lot of the key art characters and then weapons and.
So
stuff
the
like that.
land we
I
just
love
saw.
fantasy, science fiction, space opera.
Is this
that
card
was
good?
Really exciting.
Is
to
this
work
card
on.
good?
Karen has something to show you.
Oh yeah.
Are you excited?
Uthros,
A little bit.
Titanic God Core.
It's your cards.
It's
on
a
the
planet
sets.
land.
Cool. Aren't they
Enters
beautiful?
tap, makes blue.
Yeah.
Station
Like your
of
work
12.
is so polished and
And then you get
incredible.
literally
love getting
Tolarian
you glowy
Academy.
stuff.
Taps to
Just
make
the
a
way you
blue mana
manage
free
the colors
artifact
around
you
the
control.
glows. Oh,
cool.
Tolarian
Especially
Academy,
for
one of
this
the most
set, just all these,
busted
like, purples and
lands
blues
that has
blend.
ever been
Yeah,
printed.
almost versus
Banned
schools,
every
darks
format.
versus lights,
It's
try to
absolutely busted.
Have the silhouette kind of.
Is
standing out,
Tolarian
not getting
Academy
lost.
that requires
Let's get
you
into it.
Alpha
to
Real.
tap 12 power
This
worth of
effects that you have
creatures?
here.
I really
and comes
love
into play
water
tap
and
good
organic
enough.
materials. There's just
I
a lot
feel
of
like there's
play
a
that you can
chance the
do,
answer
so
is
you can kind of
yes.
really get into
Like
kind of
in an
middle
artifact
heaven.
deck, you have
Yeah.
affinity threats, big
Being able to
enforcer stuff.
undulate
You got big
colors
construct
and
tokens,
that's
like you get from Simulacrum
Yeah, space
Synthesizer.
kind of acts
It
like a
doesn't
liquid
seem that
too,
hard
so-
in an artifact
Yeah, it really
deck to maybe
does.
tap 2 or
Sammy.
3 creatures.
Yeah.
The question
Getting work on
is it
Sammy
win more?
was
I
awesome.
guess. Like
Similar to
if you have
Alpha
2 or
Real,
3
kind
big
of wanted the
constructs
expression
that can
to
tap
be,
and power
you know,
this up.
pensive, almost troubled.
Would you be better just to
in a
attack
way,
and
like-
maybe
Yeah,
win
it's
the
so
game
exciting to
rather
see
than
three
tapping
brand new
them to
characters
like
in
add
Magic.
counters
It
to your
is,
planet? That's
you
gonna
do
be
a
the
lot of character
question.
work for us, but
I
gotta
think
say,
this card could be
totally
really good
is.
though,
Oh, cool.
even
Thank you.
with the safety valves
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
I feel like these
Stone.
I feel like they're all busted in
Beautiful.
Look at
Commander.
that.
I feel like they're
Wow.
busted in
That's a
Commander.
nice-
That looks
Yeah.
useful.
Because in
Once you have
Commander
it
it's
out,
40
you're gonna
life,
win
games
the
are
game.
slower. In 1v1
Sure hope so.
formats,
Yeah.
man, it maybe.
Something
This isn't one I'm
that
highest
Andrew
on.
Brown,
The
who
black
is
one
the
that we
lead
saw
designer of the
earlier.
set, often says is that our sets are way better when we have fun making them.
The
And I really believe that
Black
to be
one
true.
I'm a little
I see
more
it
skeptical
every day,
of.
how much
So
passion
same
all
setup.
my coworkers pour into
Enter
this.
stat
We
makes black.
love Magic
You need tap
so
12
much.
plus
Most of us
power
got
creatures.
here because
Then
we
its
love
ability is
Magic.
pay
Edge of
2,
Eternities
tap
is
it, pay
magic
2
in
life, sack a
space.
creature.
It's
Draw
like
cards equal
all
to sack
the
creatures.
things you
Power
want
only is a
from
sorcery.
Magic, but you're on a
This one I
spaceship,
feel like is
and
going to be
there's
harder
an
than the
alien
artifact
chasing
one
you,
because
and
it's
maybe
harder
there's
to
an
have
alien in your
big
co-pilot
black
seat, and he's your
creatures
best
than it
friend.
is to have big
You know, that
artifact creatures, at
vibrancy,
least
that
in
richness
standard.
of when you
So this
see
one seems
something,
more
you pick
narrow
up
to
a
me.
card and you're like,
It's a
whoa.
unique effect
Right,
though.
that
Like if you play
moment, to me, that
a
makes it all
big
worthwhile.
It's going
what
to
was
feel
the
like
what was
they're
the 3-drop
traveling
dinosaur?
really far away, but it's
There
going
was
to
like a
feel
7/6
home
and you
for
had
them
to
at the same
rotting
time.
Regisaur.
I hope
If you have
fans
like a
are
rotting
excited to see
Avatar style
do.
card.
The promise of space.
Just like
means so many
drawing
different
7
things
and
to so
refilling
many
your
different
hand
people,
kind of seems
and
busted.
It's new places, it's new things, it's new people,
Yeah, Cradle.
it's new planets.
I don't think
And so I
the
hope
green
that
one's been
feeling of
officially spoiled yet, but
expansiveness
Cradle is
and
obviously
the
super
care
busted
and
too.
creativity that was put into crafting the scale of the setting really comes across. And I hope that
I
the
like that you
Edge
get
is a
like
place that
every creature
fans
you
love to
play,
visit for
you
the first
kind of get a
time,
free
and
station
also
out
that
of
our
it,
first
right?
visit
Like
sort of piques their
you play a
interest
creature,
to see more because we've
it has
built
summoning
this environment in
sickness.
such a
You
way
can
that
just
there's so much
immediately
more
tap
to
it and
discover.
add a bunch of counters. I guess you could also start like proliferating and stuff. It's gonna be it's such a weird mechanic that we just haven't really seen before. I'm gonna be very curious to see just how good it actually is. Well, I gotta say, I'm curious your thoughts, chat. I would give that intro like maybe C tier. I actually feel like compared to what we've seen with some past sets where they have these crazy intros and you got, the command zone guy is doing stuff and it's crazy and they obviously put so much effort in it. This one was kind of like pretty chill, right? It was like kind of long.
Welcome back.
And all they really did was just
Edge
like,
of Eternities
they didn't
debut
do a whole
to the
lot.
debut after show. We are here to dive deeper.
Hello, Blake.
into
What
all
is
things
our
Edge
Blake
of
here?
Eternities.
Actually, Blake.
So thanks for tuning
Blake
in to
looks
the
pretty
debut.
relaxed today.
I
I think we might be creeping up towards.
About a lot of what you've just
We
seen,
might be creeping
as
up
well
towards an
as
A tier
revealing
Blake
some
today.
new cards and learning a lot about mechanics
think-
and abilities, where they came from,
I
how
think
they were
Blake, yeah.
designed, all
It
of
might,
that sort of jazz.
high B, low
To
A.
do that, we have
Blake's
three
doing good.
fantastic guests with us today.
He misread a
Gentlemen, why
card
don't
called
you
the
introduce
End
yourself, Say a
Stone.
little bit about what you did for Edge of Eternities. We'll start here.
Hello, I'm Andrew Brown. I was the set lead on Edge
What
of
is the
Eternities,
End Stone?
And that's about it.
Yeah.
That's the important part, yeah.
Turin also
Ethan
kind of looks
Fleischer. I led the
vacation-y.
visual
They actually
design
all look
team
like,
for-
I know, Andrew's got his
Hi, I'm
uniform
Mark
on. He's
Curry.
got
I'm
the magic
executive
shirt.
producer
Everyone
for
else
Magic,
kind of looks
and I
like they
did
just
the
came off a
product
cruise
design
ship.
for Edge of Eternities.
So we're going to talk about all
look
of those
like they
topics.
just been out
We're going
cruising.
to launch right into this, pun somewhat intended, where
7 mana
we're gonna
legendary
talk through
artifact.
each of the mechanics. We're going to show off some cards you may have already
Wait, what is
seen,
the
you
actual
may
name
not
of the
have
card
already seen.
though? Like I can't even
and go
look it
from
up
there.
because
So let's
the name just doesn't
begin
say
with
anything.
Kind of one of the we'll call it one of the workhorse mechanics of the set, which is Lander.
Oh, I don't know how I misread
So
it.
this is a new
I haven't even
token
seen
that
this
we can
card.
create. Tell us a little bit about
The
Lander and
End
where it came from.
Stone. 7 mana
Landers
legendary
are
artifact.
artifact tokens that
Whenever you play a
represent
land
little-
or
little
cast a
landing
spell,
shells.
draw a
You know,
card.
very often in,
At the beginning of your
in
end
a
step,
science
your life total
fiction
becomes
setting,
half
people
of
go
your
down
starting
a
life
shuttle
total
and
rounded
check
up.
out the planet, find out what's
Wow.
going on the planet.
Interesting.
We wanted this set to be big,
Beginning of your end
and
step.
one
That
way
is-
to go big in a Magic
Man,
game
that is
to have lots of
interesting if
mana
you can get it down
available so you
fast
can
enough.
cast expensive
Obviously,
spells
draw a
with
card
big
whenever you
splash
play something
effects.
is wild.
And so the
But it
Lander
is 7
tokens
mana?
allow you to ramp to more mana.
Interesting.
Well, let's see.
I do love
our
drawing
first preview
cards.
card
I
here,
missed.
which is
I see.
Siege
I totally did miss
Impact.
that. I didn't even see that one.
So this is
Ooh,
1 in a green
all
for
right.
an instant.
Siege
Destroy
Ship's
target artifact or
Impact.
enchantment. Pretty
2 mana,
straightforward, but
instant.
then
Destroy an
mana
artifact or
value is 2
enchantment. If
less,
its mana value
create
is 2 or less, create a
Lander
Lander
tokens.
token.
Then you
An
see
artifact
that
would pay
text
2,
in
tap
there
it,
for,
sack it, search life for
Lander
a basic
token,
life, put it battlefield,
artifact
tap,
with
shuffle.
2 tap,
One thing I'm
sacrifice
excited
the
about
creature library for
is.
basic
Oh,
land
I
card,
will turn down
battlefield
Watsy audio.
tapped, then shuffle. So this sort of land.
One thing I would say about
here is this a specific
about these Lander tokens.
green
First off, this
ramp
card is just
ability, or
really
we see this in
good.
all colors? Where is Lander
It seems very good in
Landers are in
Commander
all 5
because it's a ramp
colors,
that goes
and
press artifact
so,
removal. I think you could probably see some standard
sort of
play.
evolved
It's going to
with
make
this
limited
new,
wild. If there's a lot of these
configuration
Lander
of
cards,
the
it's going to make it
version of
really
the
easy to
Lander
build
tokens
5-color
were
decks in
double-face
limited, which
tokens,
I
like we
love
saw
building
in
5-color
the
decks. So
Archer
it's kind of
team,
exciting to
where
see
they
what
were
limited might
artifact
look
on one
like.
side,
It might get
you
me to
could
do
pay
some more
2 mana to
drafting.
transform
I
them,
really want to
and they
see
were an
these in
artifact
black and red
land
and blue.
on the other side
So
that
far,
would
they've
tap
all
and
been
color
green
your
with a
lands.
little bit of bad ones in red, but I really want to see those
Everyone
bad
should
ramp
tell us
colors get
where
access to
things
them.
went from there.
Yeah, so
Naturalize made
after
obsolete.
the first
Honestly,
tokens, we took out
that's been
DFCs
true
from
for a
the
while
set,
now.
and we kind of had this
We
infrastructure
naturalized
for
got
Lander
power
still
crept a
in
minute
there,
ago. The
and
Mega
figure
Magic
out
card.
how we wanted
A police
to
officer
make
came
them
to my house
kind
and
of
asked
fit
me
with the
where
rest of
I
the
was
set.
from 5 to 6.
So we
He
went
seemed
to
really
the
annoyed when I
sacrifice
said
version
first
to get a basic
grade.
land from your deck onto battlefield tapped.
Good to see
We
a
also
Mega
like
Magic
that
card.
version
Welcome
better
back to the
because it
fishbowl.
also
Big
fixed
Super
your
G for
mana,
you. Thank you, thank you,
instead
thank
of
you.
just kind of putting you in the same situation that we had with the reflecting pool-esque line of text there.
Now, obviously, we've only started talking about the texture of the set, but they presumably just watched the debut video. So
We did.
Where, Lander, this sort of token, we've seen it before with glue, with food. It's
Oh.
sort of a glue mechanic that
Yeah.
holds a lot of things in the set together.
Right.
So how does this token matter for other things in the set?
Yeah, so the token matters a ton in the set infrastructure. So, for example, the black-red theme is sacrificing creatures or artifacts.
Oh.
Landers are a great thing to sacrifice
Oh.
if you have too much mana and
Oh.
you have a loose token around. It also really works super well with the void mechanic.
That makes it sound like it's going to be all colors,
and it
right?
also helps with the warp mechanic, as Ethan was
That
saying.
makes it
in a
sound like
set
it's
where
gonna.
you
Hey, what's
want
up, Cat
to
Cam
have a lot
fan?
of mana,
That makes
but
it sound
you
like it's
wanna
gonna be.
have a lot of mana
That
to
makes it
cast
sound
the
like it's
second
gonna be in all
side
colors, right? They
of your
just
cards.
referenced
So Landers kind of work
Rakdos.
with all of the mechanics and kind of tie in. And
Yeah, they they've put a lot of effort into removing
Now, we
Mana
do have
Screw
a
from
second
Magic.
lander card to show off, which has a
Okay.
little bit of a twist on creating them. So this is Emergency Eject.
Oh, white.
2 and a white.
Emergency
instant, destroy
eject.
target
3
non-land
mana, instant, destroy target non-land permanent. Controller creates a lander token.
Are we going to
Okay.
see a lot of
That
giving your opponent a lander
is-
token? Is this sort of just a one-of deal?
Yeah, I think this is really actually the only card that gives your opponent.
Interesting. It means it's going to be in all colors, though, right?
But like Ethan was saying,
It means
show
it's
up
gonna be in all
and
colors.
This is a very white way to create a lander token.
It depends on what the rest
so
of the
white
card is
removal
doing, right? You're
generally
only paying
always
2
is
to
about
ramp,
attackers
so
or
you're paying a
blockers,
ramping
or if
growth.
it's more
So as long
unconditional
as the
like
card
this,
you're playing is
it will
doing
give
its
the
thing at the right
opponent
rate,
cookies
like
like,
the going cost, then I think paying 2 to ramp is fine, because that's kind of the going rate for ramping. I'm just excited to know what's going on in colors. Like, that's going to be huge. Duelist, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription.
Yes,
Thank
you
you,
can
thank
see
you, thank
each
you,
of
thank
the
you.
5 major civilizations from the
Okay, so
Solarian
it's
system are
oh
represented on
that
these land
that
tokens,
mechanic might be a
and
big
they're
deal
all
for a commander.
color-aligned.
Gonna be super fun for limited. Gonna be interesting in standard, but probably insane in commander. That white removal spell seems kind of jank though.
I gotta remind myself.
Yeah, I think I would rather give my opponent a creature token than a land.
All right, now let's move on to a slightly bigger mechanic. So this is Station, one of the more
Station.
exciting new additions from this set.
This one I'm
tell us
still
about-
so
One of the
so
most
confused
important
by how good it's gonna
ideas that
be.
we wanted to get across with
The
Edge of Eternities was
Ceramia.
the concept of scale. We wanted this to be the biggest Magic set ever, or at least the biggest since Rise of the Eldrazi. If we could manage that, we'd be in good shape.
The biggest set since
one
Rise of
the things
Eldrazi.
that
So there's definitely gonna be
space
some Timmy
operas often
stuff.
Have are gigantic spaceships, just huge ships.
The other thing to keep in mind with these spaceships that we haven't really talked about, but yeah, slivers are back to some extent. We got to see more. We've seen one sliver card so far that's like an artifact that makes slivers. I'm curious if there's actually sliver creatures. The other thing to keep in mind with these spacecraft, a card like this, Ceramia, when it enters, you tutor for a legendary creature put in your hand. So it's 3 mana tutor. So even if you never actually power it up, 3 mana tutor is kind of the going rate. So if the ETB is good enough, you don't really mind if it doesn't turn into anything for a while. I believe, so you definitely can Ensoul Artifact them. My current understanding, though, and we'll have to wait till we get the official, like, full rules, but my guess is if you don't tap 7+ power worth of creatures, you won't get the rest of the ability. So if you Ensoul Artifact, it won't have flying, and it won't make your other tapped legendary creatures indestructible unless you actually power it up. That's my guess. That's how I read it. Although, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see the official rulings.
Guideline Station, not from the Commander product. We'll get to those in a moment.
That was my first.
So this is
Infinite Guideline Station. So Wooburg. Spacecraft. When it enters, create a tap 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token for each multicolored permanent you control. So one by itself, more if you have more. Station 12, flying. When it attacks, draw a card for each multicolored permanent you control, and it's a 7/15. Well, unfortunately, the tokens are tapped, so you can't immediately use them to power up the station. Hey, what's up, Doug? Space Set Time. Welcome back to the Fishbowl. Big scoop cheer for you. Thank you, thank you. And Mech Von Wack, welcome you as well. Big scoops here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What
have you noticed?
Those Commander ones in a second.
This card's pretty cool.
This is a new,
definitely a commander card
subtype,
or like an
what
against
were some
odds
of the
card.
Challenges in designing.
I feel like one of the things they've started doing is almost every set we get a 5-color commander with a set mechanic. Have you noticed that for like the last year or two? Pretty much every single set, there's going to be 5-color commander with one of the set mechanics on it.
It's a pretty big tempo loss. And,
which I think is cool. I think making more narrow 5-color commanders is a good thing.
A lot of the things we did.
This seems tricky to really power up in standard.
So for example, on Infinite Guideline Station, you'll get a lot of robots.
I wish the reward was a little higher, maybe.
And as you'll see more of these cards come out, you'll also see
like,
more of them.
It's ETB.
With the board. They make
I don't know. Maybe there's something like the Niv deck. Remember like the Niv to light deck in Pioneer? Maybe we can do something like that where we just play all multicolor permanents and play a multicolor permanent on 2, 3, 4, play this on 5, make like 4 tokens, and next turn turn into a creature. Maybe there's a way to make it work.
Yes, we're going to see a lot of lower.
Isn't it really strong with Lane Line of the Guild Pact?
There are a pretty key integral parts
I mean,
to limited. A lot of the infrastructure around that is kind of
Let me
make
did it say
stations shine.
non-land permanent, or did it
One
just
thing
say?
that I'll like to call out.
So I
once we
guess Landland
see
in the Guild
what
pack does say
mechanic is
non-land
how
permanent.
Well, those two.
I was thinking if it
really
turned your
synergize
lands into multicolored permanents, then it would be absurd.
All right, now let's see.
I mean, it's
the
good with
commander
Leyline in the
face
Guild
card.
pack.
So when we revealed,
You
the
still need to cast a
commander
5-drop,
decks,
and you still need
some
permanents.
time ago.
Oh,
we revealed
commander.
sort of secondary
Hearthhole, the world
but
seed. So
the
4
face
mana, 6/7
commanders
station
are actually
spacecraft.
for
Ooh, 2
these
plus.
decks. So
Pay
here
1,
we have
tap it, sack a land, draw 2 cards, you can play an additional land this turn.
World
8
Seed,
plus.
and
Flying Vigilance Haste. Whenever you sack a land, each opponent loses. Ooh, a land sack commander.
Yeah, so the,
oh, that's
the
actually
first
super
level here,
cool.
It's unlocked when you have 2 or more charge
Hey, what's up,
counters on
Paladin?
it. So pretty quickly you can get to the point where you're sacking lands to draw cards, and then eventually you'll have.
How are you,
to get
Paladin?
to
Good to
that
see you.
plus,
Yeah, we
which is
played for a
when
while
you
before the stream started. I really like this as a commander card.
Artifact creature.
Land
You'll notice it doesn't
sacking
say,
is
this
something
would
that
be
we
your
haven't
commander
really
on
seen
here.
before.
The commander
Like,
rules have
can
been
you think of a
changed to allow these
commander where the
spacecraft
way you
to
win
be
the
your
game is
commander.
sacking all your lands?
So we no longer have to.
I can't really think
write
of
on there. As you
one.
can see, there's a lot of words.
Once you get it powered up, you can just like scape shift, sack all your lands, drain the
when it
table out of the
levels up,
game.
this is, like previous sort of.
Yeah, I guess
levels,
Titania.
keeps the
I guess
previous
Titania.
abilities,
I
correct?
guess I'm excited with this one too. Is in black, so you can lose like
actually
pitiless
even
carnage
changes
to
the
sack all your lands.
creature.
Black
Yeah.
gives you like
It's at 8 plus,
really
right?
good sack
So,
fodder for your mana
if they-
base.
for the ones
I'm
that
actually
have
very
2
excited to
levels,
build around
you'll
this
see
now.
it
I haven't
comes
seen
up
this
with
card
it.
before.
If it wakes
That
up
actually
before
seems,
you-
and I really like the
there
low
are any that do
station
that,
cost to
but
turn it on
we
the
put
first
it on.
move.
Yeah,
I hope we see more cards
Yeah,
like
there
this.
are no
This makes
stations
spacecraft
that
feel
turn
like
onto a
fixed
creature,
planeswalkers in some ways.
before their
They're like
final level.
planeswalkers that
While
you
we were
can't
developing
immediately
it, we
attack, but you have to
noticed that,
power up
like,
before they
you
do
have
as
to put
much.
a dice on it to track it, and then sometimes that can be.
Yeah,
a
I guess
little
Lumra. I
difficult,
guess Lumra's
so,
a good call.
um,
All right,
one of
we
the
haven't
things we
seen
discovered
many
internally
commanders
is
that
if
care
you
about
just make
land
the
sagging.
final level
Regardless,
always the creature, you
I'm
can just
still
take the dice
excited for
off and then
Hearthhole. It seems fun to build
understand this is a
around.
creature the whole time.
I don't know what it is though. Is
All right,
this
let's
actually the
see
spacecraft?
second
No,
commander face card
that's-
from Counterintelligence.
That doesn't look like what I would think of as a spacecraft, but cool.
There it is.
In Spirit, flagship vessel. So Jeskai spaceship, spacecraft. It has station. 1+ at the beginning of combat on your turn.
For legendary artifact
Put your
spacecraft.
choice of a +1/+1 counter or 2 charge counters on up to 1 target artifact.
Well,
8+ flying.
the
Other
name of the
artifacts you
deck
control
is a
have
pun,
hexproof and
this is
God
all about
dang.
counters, it's all about
Hexproof
charge counters
and
specifically.
indestructible.
There's
They just
all
went
kinds
all
of
out.
different
Wow,
ways
that's.
to make and use charge counters
I don't
in
know
this
if I
deck,
would
which,
play this
is
as
very-
my commander.
Very cool and exciting.
I don't know if I'd play this as my commander, but in an artifact deck, golly.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about
Artifacts
Station
have
while we
hexproof and
were,
indestructible. If you can
developing it
protect the
is
in spirit
we were
itself,
debating on what
wow.
counter to use.
That is a very
And we
powerful
ultimately
ability on a
ended
3
up
mana
on
card.
Charge counter.
And then the charge
because it
counters
was
you can. So I
flavorful
think the
in
idea of
terms
this
you know,
is to
you build up
be
your station,
a
you
station
charge it
for
up.
stations,
And
right? This is the
also, there was a
flagship
lot of
that all
previous
the other
Magic
spacecraft go
infrastructure
to.
around charge
So the
counters,
counters that
so
you
could
put
take all of your
onto
mirrored
spacecraft
cards
are
that
actually
had
charge counters. So once you get +1 at the beginning of your combat, you can just be adding 2 counters to other spacecraft. So this is a way that you can power on your spacecraft without actually crewing them, which is pretty neat. I think that's the idea of this, is you can just spew a bunch of spacecraft and this will help power it up.
Right. You've turned your
Doesn't it go infinite turns with charge scepter in one single trigger
Nice
doubler?
surprise.
Doesn't this go
okay,
infinite?
Let's move on to our next
Yes, I
mechanic. We've
think
referenced
so.
A few times.
It's 4 charge counters, right? So I think, yeah, it
So
seems like
let's
it could
look
go
at warp.
infinite
What's
with.
warp?
I mean, it'd be a 3-piece combo, but still.
Warp represents the ability
Seems
of
pretty good.
traveling faster than light, which is a staple of
They
the
changed the
space opera
rules
genre.
to
You've gotta be
say
able to
that
get to
starting
the
with Edge of
planets, and you don't
Eternities,
have
perpetual
several years to
mutation,
do it, so you
legendary, all legendary vehicles and all legendary spacecraft can be
yeah,
commanders.
we made this mechanic
So this
that-
applies
to
to
represent
this
that,
applies
and,
to old
it allows you to cast
old
the
legendary vehicles
creature
as well.
for
But yes,
a
starting with
lower
the set,
cost,
you can play them as
but
commanders.
The creature will go into exile at the end of the turn.
Warp, I think. Warp is the mechanic that
cast the engine
seems
exile
geared
full
for
price
constructed for me
later.
for 60
So,
card formats. I'm very
many
excited
of
for
these
Warp.
either
I
have
feel like
haste
spacecraft
or
will be
have
fun build
enters
arounds.
the
I feel like
battlefield
they'll be
triggers,
busted
leaves
in
the battlefield
Commander,
triggers,
and maybe some of the
so
best
that
ones
that
will
will
work in
generate
60
some
card
value
formats.
over
Warp, on the other hand, to me feels very much like like
well,
the exact
and
kind of
remnants
mechanic that should be
evoke
really
as
good in
well, but
standard,
I
and maybe
do,
even modern and pioneer in
you know,
some
I love
cases.
the flavor of it, like you said, beating relativity and But how, did you
Warp
did you
is
all start
like
with the idea that you wanted to
evoke
represent faster
mixed
than
with
light travel
adventure,
as a
maybe
mechanic?
mixed
Did you
with
start this
plot a
mechanic?
little
How did this
bit.
one come to be?
It's not exactly like anything, but it's like very similar to. It's little bits and pieces of a bunch of different mechanics.
What is hyperspace?
Yeah, I think it is also the
in
reason they
Magic?
had to get
We
rid
have
of
all these different
Beanstalk.
zones, and any one of them could be it. But
'Cause they
it
knew
seemed
this
like
was
the
coming
Exile
when we
Zone
did
was
not.
Sort of the most outer spacey kind of extra.
Yeah,
dimensional
Exile works for
place,
outer space, I think.
Traditionally speaking, for Magic, so that was where we ended up pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right, let's see our first card in Warp, which is Weft Stalker Ardent.
Weft Stalker
2 and a
Ardent.
red
3 mana,
for a
2/3.
Drix
Drix. I don't even know what Drix is. Drix Artificer. Whenever another creature artifact you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Warp it for 1. So if you warp a card, you play it, but it's going to go to exile at the beginning of the end step, and then you can play it again in a future turn for its full
What sort of
cost.
abilities did you put on these? What are we?
I really love it's so
a lot of the time
it's such a cool ability. So like you want to play full price for the card to have it stick around, but there's going to be times when you have like a combo turn, right? And you're going to have a bunch of artifacts entering, but maybe you don't have enough mana to actually pay 3 and still do everything else. Then you can warp it and have everyone do your thing, maybe close out the game. It's such a cool mechanic. It's so good.
Okay.
Right.
It's
this
so
one doesn't
good.
generate any value itself. You need to combine it with.
You need support for it. Yes, that is
And like I was
true.
saying earlier with the station mechanic,
It's gonna play.
yeah,
It's gonna play very
requires you to
interesting.
have creatures. The
It's
warp
kind of
and
like
the
Better
station
Evoke.
mechanic
Better
really
Evoke mixed
interact
with a little bit
very
of adventure,
favorably,
I guess, in
as
the
you
sense
can
that you
get
like
a
can play it
more
later or
expensive
plot.
or
That's where
higher
that comes
powered
from.
creature for
Warp
cheap.
is the combo cost. I think
So
that's
when
kind
you
of
have
how
a
I
station
view
out,
it.
you can warp
It
your
depends on the
creature,
card a little
it can
bit.
have
Some of the
its
cards
enters
is just
effect,
like
and it can have
essentially
its
what Warp
enchantment
does
effect,
is it
but then you
lets
can
you
also
buy the
tap it to
creatures
put,
in a lot of
charge
cases.
counters on your
Buy the
station, so
creatures ability for 1 turn on the cheap.
Yeah, because you don't
A lot of
really-
times it's going to
you
be
don't
buying an
get paid
ETB on the
for
cheap,
using
or like a
faces.
leaves
That's
the
correct,
battlefield
right?
trigger on the
Although
cheap.
the
This one's a little
creature
weird because it's a
itself has
static
some
effect.
attack.
But a lot of them
Otherwise,
have ETB style
waiting
effects
around
that we've
is
seen.
perfect.
And I feel like that's kind of what you're doing, right? You're getting a
Alright,
discount, but you're
next
just
card
buying the
Warp.
See, this
ETB
is a
essentially,
Drix. This
or
is
a
new
time-restricted
species.
version
Oh,
of the
yeah,
static
for the
ability.
first time. These are
If you
an
blink a
alien
warp card, does it come back
species that
normally?
have the
Yes.
natural ability
If you
to
blink a
warp
warp
themselves.
card, it comes
Everyone
back
else has to
normally.
use spaceships, but the Drix can do it biologically.
If you reanimate it, it'll be its full
All right, let's
price
see our
side or
next
whatever.
preview
It'll be
card, which
normal
is
side.
Timeline Color, another card.
All right, Timeline Color, 2 mana,
Warp. This one
2/2
is slightly
haste.
different warp.
You may cast this card from
Yeah,
your
so when we were
graveyard using its
thinking
warp
about-
ability. Ooh, warp
once
of
we had
1 and
the,
2 life.
exact mechanics for warp, you kind of go to level 2. It's
Wait,
like,
that
what is
seems like a
what are the
constructed
cool
card,
ways
right?
To use this ability, and one of my favorite old
That
cards
actually seems
is
pretty good.
Grave
So the 2
Crawler.
life is a little
This
scary.
is kind of a mix.
But
of
1 mana
putting
is very
that
cheap.
card's
So this comes
mechanics
back from
with
your
warp,
graveyard for
so you can
1
warp this
mana
card
with
from your graveyard
haste.
at
And then
the
it goes to
cost of
exile.
an
Next time you
extra
gotta
2
cast
life.
it. I guess the 2 mana 2/2 haste is not as good. That actually seems
don't
pretty
even need a
powerful.
zombie, no.
That actually seems pretty good.
All right.
It is.
Next up,
It's
we have
Gravecrawler without the
Use
combo
Social
potential.
Engineering. So this is
Ooh.
an enchantment.
Use social engineering. 5 mana enchantment landfall. When a land enters.
So enchantments naturally make for great warp cards.
Didn't they
as
just print
they're
Chocobo
essentially like,
Racetrack
I
and
can
it's the
get
same
this
card?
for
I
a cheaper
feel like-
cost, only for 1 turn. and I
Is
can
this
cast it
another
later.
thing that we get every
You'll
set
also
is
see
5
that
mana landfall
landfall is
enchantment that
making
makes a
returns
2/2
here,
token with
which
set
also
mechanic.
synergizes really well with the lander tokens.
This is actually where you can see.
What sort of
This
we've
is
seen
where you can
creatures, we've seen
see
enchantments,
where
what are
warp
we
can really
expecting to see
matter.
warp on?
If 5
You can
mana,
expect to
that's
see
a
warp
lot.
on
What if you want to
basically all
play
card
this
types except
and
land.
escape shift in the same
All
turn?
permanent types or
Like
spells
you need to
too?
pay 9 mana to pay
not
this and
spells,
escape shift.
mostly
But with
permanent
warp,
types
you can
and
pay it
not
for
land
2 and then escape shift for 4, so 6 total mana. Those are the kind of
next
things
up,
that
we
warp
have
can enable, I
Bygone
think.
Colossus.
So this is
Bygone
my favorite
Colossus.
warp card in the set.
9 mana, 9/9 warp.
It
of
was originally
3.
called Combo Golem for a very long time.
Why?
Because that's essentially all it does.
So this just has to be you try
so
to
there are so
blink
many
it.
different ways to use this card.
It's gotta be,
if
right?
You'll notice like a lot of the station numbers are really high. This
So you
card
warp
just
this into
essentially
play,
gets you
station
those,
something, try to
at a
blink
really
it to
low
keep it into
cost.
play. It is going to be good
You can
at
also use
stationing.
flicker spells from Magic's past to warp it in and then just flicker.
Flickering
it, and
is
then
the first
come
thing
back
I
onto the
thought of.
battlefield and then doesn't have to
Like
exile
almost the
later.
MDFC
there are so many
trick.
different ways to use this card, and it's super fun to think about.
That's actually a cool card.
for sure.
9 mana is so much, but the warp of 3 is kind of and the art's so
It
good.
is
I just love the
vastly-
art on this
vastly
card.
on purpose.
Yeah, I do.
That's actually a really neat card.
Ethan, so we were talking a little bit about this.
Warp is going to be so fun. I think Warp might be one of my new favorite mechanics that they put in a while. Just the more I think about all the things you can do with it, the choices that it gives you, the flexibility that it gives you. Really like it.
Haven't been reading the stories. What sort of tidbits?
It's funny to see actual robots in Magic, by the way. Since Affinity was called Robot. Hey, Bearby, you gonna say hi to everybody? Say hi to everybody.
The Fomori and the Eldrazi.
Yeah, there you go, bud. Where are you?
We've seen a lot of the Eldrazi in the past in various Magic sets. We've seen hints about the Fomori here and there, especially recently. But a lot of it is pretty distant and ambiguous. But we know that it was incredibly destructive. And basically, the Eldrazi were driven out of the edge, and everybody has to kind of be alert, pay attention, because if the Eldrazi come back, that needs to be nipped in the bud. We can't let any Eldrazi come back here.
There's our bear for the day. Good boy, bear.
An Eldrazi card in the video there. But,
how many Eldrazi do you think we're gonna get? Do you think this is an Eldrazi set, or are they just gonna give us like one Eldrazi and that's that?
Let's move on to our last mechanic that we're going to discuss here, which is Void. So tell us about Void.
I'm kind of man Void, honestly.
About classic space opera trope stuff than it is specifically inspired by the world building that the world building team did.
I'll take you outside in a
we
bit.
all
You
got
gotta wait till the
really
screen's done.
excited about the Monoist faction, which is the black.
I'm kind of. I don't know if I really care about the Void mechanic. Void to me, yeah, I read it as bad revolt.
System and have all this like.
Which maybe that's not fair, but it reads like bad revolt to me.
They want to usher in the time when every molecule in the universe collapses.
Well, I guess better morbid would also be.
Then we'll all be together.
I guess it's so funny. I immediately went to the glass half empty, which was bad revolt, but I guess you could also look at it and think of it as better morbid, which would be kind of the glass half full.
The standout faction
is better morbid.
Like the other 4 factions just fine, but the Monoists were just.
I think in standard,
so unique and
because it triggers off warp, and because warp looks so good, I think it'll definitely have an impact on standard. I think it's less likely losing the ability to trigger off lands. I think just kills it in older formats for the most part, but
non-land permanent leaves the battlefield. Sort of Void is active. Yeah. And it also gets activated when you warp a card. So when you pay that warp cost is another way to get your.
If you warp a card, the Void is
basically
active.
Your cards will have abilities that trigger only if something has left the battlefield or been warped, or will have an upgrade on an instant or sorcery, a kicker-like effect. There's a variety of ways of using it, but it's mostly just a tag to see that things have left. And there's lots of ways to make things leave. You know, we've got warp, we've got the lander tokens. It's all set up for us.
Yeah, I guess tokens make it easier to turn on.
And I don't want to gloss over the part that you said at the top of that, which was non-land. Was that a lesson you all learned from Revolt?
What do you mean by lesson?
Was that an
I feel like Revolt's good for modern.
I think so.
I feel like Revolt was a good thing for modern. I don't think it's a negative.
When we're like creating these environments,
like yes, maybe it's responsible for pushing Tarmogoyf out of the format,
leaving
but
the battlefield, especially with like fetch lands in older formats, it does feel kind of cheaty, and it doesn't really feel naturally like Magic. So we intentionally left off land here just to make sure that we can actually give you a bigger reward. So like if we leave land on, then we have to kind of make sure that things aren't as powerful because we know that it's really easy to skirt that. But if we add non-land, we can make things look more awesome.
We better get some pretty juice cards then.
Makes sense. All right, let's take a look
the
at
new Void Thoughtseize will be
cards.
obnoxious in modern with Bobble.
Ooh.
Yeah, you actually might be right. Decode Transmissions. 3-mana sorcery, draw 2, lose 2, Void. If an non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or the spell was warped this turn, instead you draw 2 and each opponent loses 2. I mean, that's not bad for a common. Yeah, it doesn't work with fetches.
Classic, kicker
I think that's why it looks. I don't think it's wrong to exclude lands. It's actually probably correct because it makes Void feel different than Revolt. It does seem like it powers sit down though.
Titan.
Void Forge Titan. 5 mana, 5/4. Meaning your end step. If a non-land permanent left the battlefield or a spell was warped, you draw a card and lose a life. Wow.
You draw a card.
Wow. I remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Blood Gift. Does anyone remember Blood Gift Demon? Blood Gift Demon. That was a card. That was a card that I would play in like all my Black Commander decks. And it's just like draw a card, lose a life on the beginning of your upkeep. It's like the flying Phyrexian Arena. And now this is essentially an uncommon.
Mentioned, Ethan,
and it triggers on your end step. Like, yes, I guess you gotta avoid it, but still, like,
are there any that see
uncommons are getting so strong.
Yeah,
like, uncommons today are what
lot of
rares were,
void
like,
cards on red cards as
what
well.
rares were 10
It's
years ago in a lot of
primarily
ways.
in, red and black.
All right.
If you can void consistently,
All right.
it seems
Now
reasonable.
we're gonna move into the slightly less structured part of the program where we just show off some cards. These are cool cards. We're showing them off for a reason.
I like cool cards
for various reasons, but they're not as organized as being about mechanics. So we're just gonna show some cool cards and talk about them. Let's start with
all right. Give us something good,
Emissary
Blake.
Escort. So Emissary
Escort. This creature gets plus X+0. X is the greatest mana value among other artifacts you control. Ooh. How? Okay. Is this card good? So in Modern, or in Timeless, or in Historic, whatever,
So
you got like
with
Near
Edge of
Enforcer
Eternities,
effects,
and
big
all space
affinity
operas,
things. So you
we
can get
always
down
were
7
gonna
mana
gravitate
things
towards
for
artifacts,
free.
so
So
there are
this is
gonna
a
be
2
a
mana
lot of
7/4
artifact build-arounds
on
in
like
this
turn
set.
3. Is that good
And
enough?
Emissary Escort is one in a long line of those cards.
I mean, it's funny because
but,
in
as
Standard,
we will see in the
in
next
Standard, the best
slide,
artifact deck is Simulacrum Synthesizer, and that kind of doesn't
yes,
work with it.
We're finding more and more ways.
Got
that
him.
these cards
Got him with the
combo
Bygone
together.
Colossus.
One
How
of my
about
favorite things
we
just
got our
about
first
Edge of
against
Eternities in
odds deck
general is
already?
how
Thank you,
well
Wizards.
all the
Emissary
mechanics
Escort
just kind of
Bygone
mesh and
Colossus.
flow together. They all
Attack you
synergize
for
really well
9.
together, and we hope that players discover stuff
That
like this.
that is a wombo combo if I've ever seen one.
Figure out how awesome it is.
Yeah, the technology and space opera is so important.
I mean, the card doesn't seem bad. It is pretty vanilla. It's just a big beater, but
Yeah, and just like it comes
in
with
artifact
Bygone
deck, it can be a
Colossus, right?
very
Yes,
big
will
beater
come
for
with
not a very high
more of the-
cost.
your artifact spacecraft, because they'll typically have higher mana values, which gives.
I swear they
Escort
spoil like half the
power,
set on day one.
Works so well with Station.
Yeah.
Just another 1/2 combo.
That card, it
Well, I
seems,
also
it
like,
seems
I mean,
fine
so,
in an artifact
older
deck.
formats too, cards with affinity work really well with this. Your
I actually
classic
feel like the
Near
more of these
Enforcers,
cards I
exactly,
see,
those
the more the
summons.
flavor. I do not think this is the hat set.
Seemingly simple.
Like we've seen enough
All
now
right,
that I
now let's
don't
take
think
a
this
look
is a
at
hat
an
set. It does not
uncommon
feel like a hat set
called
to me.
Unravel.
Maybe it has some
Unravel
little
is
like
one
elements of a hat
instant,
set,
probably
but
already know what it's
3
gonna
mana
be.
instant counter target spell. If the amount of mana spent to
to
cast that spell is less than its mana value, draw a card.
This is, we see a cancel variant.
Okay.
A
So
lot of
we're
sets.
punishing the
Very
leyline
rarely
bindings
do
of the
you
world. I
draw
guess
a
it's to punish warp. So
Right.
essentially,
This is normal
if you
space
counter a
we tried
warp
to
spell,
stray away from,
you get to
like,
draw a
one
card.
of the design heuristics we like to hold to is
The problem is, it's still a
should be better,
cancel.
you should
Yeah,
be
maybe.
worse off for
Yeah,
trying to
I don't
cast
really
your
think of
spell.
Duskmourn as a hat set in the same way that
designs
Ether
like
Drift
Dismiss
or
whatever we try to
OTJ
stray away
or
from.
and Murders of
with
Carlisle Manor
Unravel,
especially were.
we do like
But you're
to
right, it might be on
punish
that level. It might be similar to Duskmourn, which I'm kind of happy with.
Casting costs.
If you're not doing something fair, I'm not going to do
Exactly.
Counters
exactly.
impending.
So Unravel
It is
our
a cool
attempt at that,
design.
and then
I like the design
in
on this
this
card.
set, the
I
main
like the
thing
design
that
of
you'll be
Unravel.
countering is warp spells. One of the things we
But
were
3
finding
steps
internally
ahead
is
still
that
exists
warp
for another
introduces
year and a
lot of
half.
resources into the game.
I don't know if
so
a
we
3 mana
definitely
counter
wanted
is
something
that
to
enough of
punish
an
you
upside to
for
make a 3 mana
casting
counter good.
your warp spell
I
first.
like what it's punishing. Will it be enough to
Next
see
up, we have
competitive play?
Sunset Saboteur.
Yeah, if it was 2 mana in some version. Ooh.
1 in a black.
Ooh, this card's
menace,
insane.
ward,
2
discard
mana,
card.
4/1
Whenever it attacks,
menace,
put a +1/+1
ward discard a card when it
target
attacks, put a
creature
+1/+1 counter on target creature and opponent controls.
Yeah, so this is a bit
This
of a
card
funky
reads
one.
absurd to me.
One of
is
my
this card
favorite
not
tropes in
like
the
it's a
space
2-mana
opera genre
4/1,
is that there's
and it
always a
has
traitor.
menace, and it has Graveyard
So
Trespasser
this is kind of
Ward,
top-down a
which
traitor
we've seen to
card.
be a very good
So
ward.
if
Which
you
means
see
if your opponent wants to
4/1
kill it,
menace
they're probably going to
for
have to
2
spend
mana
at
with
least
ward
one extra card and 2
discard
for one
that's
themselves.
a really good deal.
And then yes, you got to put a +1/+2
but
counter on your
we have
opponent's
that line
thing.
of text at the bottom, which is
A downside,
or
but
if you
like
are able
if you're a
to
black
manage
deck, you can just kill
opponent's
your opponent's
creatures,
stuff and
not
keep
a
them off the
downside at all.
board. Like, I feel like this card's busted. I feel like the card is busted.
Indeed, yeah.
Rogues are outlaws,
So
right?
you'll see in the art too.
They
this
are
is
also
a,
would count
this
as
is a
outlaw.
monoist aligned character.
You doubted to see play.
Kind of perusing.
I mean,
as
so I guess
a,
it
white aligned character.
Well, and
it could
Turian,
trade down, but
you know,
Menace
we're
helps
so used to
there.
seeing extended art cards, we kind of blew
And
by
even
the
if you're
first
putting a
one
counter on their
we
creature,
saw,
like
but extended art
I imagine
is
you're playing something
usually
very
fun
aggro with
variant.
this. I wouldn't play a
Can you
mid-range
talk
or
a little
control.
bit
I think you got to be a
about
very
what cards
aggressive
got those
deck, but I feel like in an
treatments
aggro
this
deck,
set, and then where you can
I'm
find
really
those?
high on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
we've
think it's
seen
going to
a
be a
couple
really
of
good aggro
extended art
card.
cards,
But maybe we find out
here.
that the drawback's
So
too
in
much.
extended
Other
art
thing that's
cards,
worth
you can
mentioning,
find they're in
4
the
power,
effect booster.
and this probably isn't
And
exactly what you want to
typically,
do with it, but it
you
is
know,
a lot of
we
power
try-
for crewing up
upcoming,
your
we're gonna be looking at
spacecraft.
so many fun
Like
variants
4 power
that
true
we've
drop
done.
is pretty
We
above
also
the
try
curve.
to make sure that basically every rare and mythic
Fire
has
magic is
at
a
least one
thing.
variant.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess if people
uh,
start playing
we'll
Fire
typically use
Magic, it gets way
extended art in
worse,
that way,
but
where it's like, oh, here it is.
seems
here's
good
an
with
upgraded
Bob.
version, or
Yes,
you can see
yes.
just a bit
I
more
like where we're
guard,
going.
and, you know, it just looks a little extra special.
And are these are I might have been, are these are found just in
What?
collector boosters?
Yeah, extended art.
It is so weird to me that there's just these pretty
All right,
traditional
let's move on to
fantasy-looking
another
knights in
card
outer
with an
space.
extended version.
That's the
This
one
is
thing about this
Friends
set. Was every
of
once in a while you
So
see a
this
card,
is,
and it's just like,
this is a wild card.
oh,
green and
okay,
green for
this
3/2.
one, this one's
spell
absurd.
Can't be countered.
Frenzied
Got trample, it's
Bailoff,
got haste.
2
Other
mana
creature
questing
spells
beast,
you
2
control can't
mana,
be countered.
3/2,
Combat damage
can't be
can't
countered,
prevented.
trample, haste,
and it feels
creature
like
spells you
one
control
of
can't be
the
countered,
control.
combat damage can't be prevented.
Yeah. So as you've properly identified, this is a very play design
That is
card.
so much
But
text
I think it also
on a
speaks to a lot
2-mana
of
creature.
what happens in space opera, where they
really
go to a planet
is.
and there's this giant ferocious
It
monster
really
that
is like a
causes
2-mana
nothing but
questing
havoc and
beast.
mayhem. And I think all
Uncounterable.
of those
Even
lines of
just
text
2
just kind of add
mana,
up
3/2
to
trample haste. That's already
craziness,
pretty
wildness,
good. Like the art, that's already a
and-
good baseline for a creature.
Yeah.
Like above the curve.
There's a lot of
and then you
people
add in
calling
all
this
this other
questing
stuff,
beast
and it just
junior.
becomes.
Was
Yeah,
that sort of
the card is
intentional, or did
the
it just
card's
sort of end up
wild.
that way?
To call the questing beast
The only
ever
question is like, okay,
intentional is a bit of a
is there
wild
is
statement.
there a green deck in standard?
Well, I mean, don't make me tell you the story of the questing beast.
Shouldn't it be the frenzied beast or Bailoff?
One day we will tell the story of the questing beast. Today is not that day.
It's upstairs. I got it.
All
Anytime
right.
you want.
Yeah, that card's good.
Tell us the
That
story of
card's
the
very
Frenzied
good.
Bailoff, though.
Yeah. So when we were,
I mean, green sucks, and they wanted to
thinking
power it
about
up.
Which cards we wanted to
I think
introduce
it's
into
as simple as
Standard,
that.
You might see a few mono green, or specifically green aligned cards that we're going to shoot for a mono green aggressive deck.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
haven't really seen that a lot
Yeah.
in recent years.
Yeah.
And this is one of our attempts at a card that you might want to play in a deck like that.
It just looks the amount of text on it just looks
Next up,
hilarious. There's just so many
have a
words for a
different
2-drop.
treatment, which is the card is
4 lines of text.
Imago?
Yep.
Genomorph Imago. 2 mana,
green and a
1/3
blue for
insect
a
druid.
creature insect druid.
It's a rare. It is flying. Whenever a land you control enters,
Then it's
target
got this
creature has base
landfall
power and
ability.
toughness of
Whenever a
3/3
land you
until end of
control
turn.
enters, target
If you control
creature
6 or
has
more
base
lands,
power
that
and
creature has base
toughness
power and
until
toughness of
end turn.
6/6 until
You
end of
control
turn.
6 or more lands that creature
Huh.
has base power and toughness.
Okay.
6
Interesting.
until end of turn. So let's talk about the card first, then we'll talk about the treatment.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Yeah,
when we
rarity has
were
gotten less important, hasn't
coming
it?
up with
Outside
a
of
lot
like Pauper or
landfall
whatever.
designs, we definitely wanted something.
Symmetry
a
of
little bit
Sage, that's
more
kinda
aggressive,
cute.
because normally landfall designs kind of
What do
tend
we
to the slower
do?
side.
Yeah.
And we've
What do
never
we
really
do with
made
this?
a like blue-green aggressive.
It's like an
landfall
aggro landfall.
style
Could it work
card,
in-
So this is our attempt at it.
Could it work in
And One of the other
Modern?
things I really like about
The problem
this
is it doesn't really
when
power
you have
up
a lander
with-
token out on the battlefield.
It doesn't
this
really
can
power up
really,
with fetch
put
lands,
a
right?
lot of
Like double
wrenches in your
triggering it
opponent's
doesn't really
combat
do
plan.
much. I guess you can make something else else into a 3/3.
Pretty easy to attack. This is a 3/3 flyer.
I guess it's kind of cute that you can make something into a 3/3
okay.
and then
Tyranno's
it crimes.
So borderless
Landfall
triumphant
crime.
cards.
I wonder if we can play it with the The green 3-drop that gets a land when you crime. The land
the
enters,
video we just
crimes
saw,
this, turn your
we
opponent's
wanted
creature into a
to
3/3.
Capture
Okay, the card
outer
might have some
spaces
shenanigans.
filled
It might have some
with these
shenanigans.
moments in media and visuals.
Ooh, turning Tifa into a
And-
3/3 is
and one thing
relevant.
that,
If you turn Tifa into a
really comes
3/3
clear is
and then
the
resolve
idea of
Tifa's trigger,
the
it'll
hero
what, double to
is, right?
6,
Like,
double to
a lot of
12,
times
double to
it's the astronaut
24.
in front of the moon
So
is
you only
like,
need
or
3
more
lands
that we
to
see.
get
And
lethal
so,
instead of 4.
You know, we were inspired.
Yeah,
by
I can see
that,
it being
and-
good in a
and
Tifa
here
deck.
We went
That
and we
actually
took,
could
a number
work.
of our creatures as well as Tezzeret, and really put them in this like very.
You think this is better than the
hero-esque
Bailoff?
pose, right? And
Interesting.
so they're centered. Typically, it's a moon or a sun. Directly behind them. And it
I
just-
don't know. I think
just
the Bailoff's really
elevates,
good.
I think
This does have flying,
the
though.
character and the visual.
I think in
So
standard,
that's what
I
we've
think
done
I'm
here with
higher
Warriors
on
Card Defense.
Bailoff. Actually, I don't even know.
The last thing I'll say on the mechanics.
Did
on
they
this
push
card,
green
though,
far
is
enough?
that
That's
it
going to
is
be the
not
question.
just
Did
this
they
creature,
push
it is
green far
target
enough to make
creature.
Bailoff good?
So if you find a
Because
way to
green
get
has been
2 lands into the
pretty bad
battlefield during your turn,
recently.
you can target a different creature, and this thing
Is the
can
right
really
frame
rack up a lot of damage
legendary?
fast.
It kind of
And then
looks
in
like
terms
it.
of, where you can find them,
But I
they're
guess
in
that's
play
just the
boosters
treatment
and
of this set, but it does look like the
so,
legendary frame up there, doesn't it?
They're you'll get them
Miracle Grow.
fairly often.
I used to love Miracle Grow. Questing
Our
Druid.
next preview card, Singularity
Quarian
Rupture.
Druid.
So
Singularity
3,
Rupture,
a blue,
6 mana,
2 black.
Demir, destroy
It's a
all
sorcery.
creatures and any
Destroy
number of target
all
players
creatures
mill half their library,
and any
rounded
number of target
down.
players each mill half
Ah!
their library rounded down.
Krim is going to play this in every friggin' deck. You know he's going to.
So, how did this card come?
I mean,
so
it's 6 mana. It's
this card came
fine.
to
It's
me
not too
by
powerful,
just
but I
thinking
know
about
Krim is
all
going to
the
annoy me with this card every
disasters
single Commander
and
Clash. This
crazy
is
things that happen
literally
to
the
space.
crimiest card that I've ever seen.
So the idea of this card came from. I
Krim.
was doing a ton of research on what happens in space, and sometimes black holes collide. And
That
I was
is-
thinking about.
I
what
mean,
are
I
2
guess it's cool
awesome
for like a
magic
mill
effects
deck.
that
I don't know why
collide
they
and
round
come
down.
together and do
I
something
guess
awesome.
maybe
And,
if it was
here we are.
rounded up, could you win by copying it enough times? I don't even know if that's relevant,
next
but
up, Sir Vondum
Oh.
the Lucent. So here
Sir
we have an
Vondum, the
uncommon
Lucent.
legendary.
5
human
mana,
knight,
4/4
2
death touch
white,
lifelink. Whenever he
black,
enters
and
or
a
attacks
black
other
for
creatures, you can
4/4.
roll. Get +1 Berserking death touch until
Sir
end of turn.
Vondum enters
Eh.
or attacks.
Still
other
though,
creatures
like
you
look at
control
that dude.
get
Why
+1
is he in
plus
space?
2
How is he in space? How do I even know that that is space? He could be in Turkey
This is very
with a big moon in the
emblematic of
background.
the
But
black-white
I
limited
why?
theme,
Okay,
which
someone had
is
to have
a
read the
go
story.
wide
I
deck.
didn't read the
So
story.
Sir Vondum is
Why are there
really good
knights in
at buffing
space?
A lot of your other
Lore
creatures,
people.
while also being
Yeah, I mean, good
a
limited card.
usable
Death touch
card on
lifelink,
its
good combo.
So
Sir
is this,
Finn,
um,
Finn the
is
Fang
this
Bear,
like the
give him all
signpost
death
cards,
touch.
the white, black,
this will be the
Poison him
signpost
out.
Okay. Are the signpost cards all legendary creatures?
He's
Are they
on-
various things.
There's going to be a mix.
Yeah.
But one of the things we've
Oh,
done
okay.
with
So he's just on like a
Eternities is
nighty,
you'll see
a nighty,
multiple
the planet of the
versions
knights.
of our main characters.
Planet of the Knights in space. Okay.
at
I mean, I
one at
guess
uncommon and
that's
then
part of
one
what
at a
makes space
higher
so
rarity.
intriguing, right? Who
And
knows
it'll
what's
show
out
them
there?
at
And there could
different
just be a
points in
planet
their
with a bunch of
life.
knights on it.
As
Maybe
of
they
Eternity's
just
story is
yeah
more kind of
ended up
self-contained.
in the medieval time
so
period and never
there's
never
not
got
as much
past
of
it.
a long-term scale here, so we felt like it would be a good idea to show them in.
Does he have a?
multiple stages
Is that
of
a
their life,
lightsaber? Oh, I thought that was a
give you
knife.
more
That
of a
is.
taste of who these
It looks
characters
kind of
are
like a
because
daggery,
they're very
daggery
contained
lightsaber. You're
towards
kind of
the
right.
space setting.
Gotcha. All right. Next up, we
Next
have
up.
Virulent Silencer.
3 mana, 2/3
3 mana
robot
for an
assassin.
artifact creature,
Whenever not took an
robot
artifact
assassin,
creature you control deals combat
whenever
damage to a player, that player
non-token
gets 2
artifact
poison
creature you control
counters.
deals combat damage
Oh, it's
to a player,
Artifact Finn.
that
It's
player gets
Artifact
2 poison
Finn.
counters. This is
Oh,
not my
that
bingo.
actually. Do you think that's everyone hates poison?
So one
Everyone
of my
hates
favorite
poison,
cards,
but
from actually Neo Kamigawa is the Virus Beetle because.
do you
to
think
me
this
it's
is
the
good enough to play in
ultimate
Commander?
Combination of a pun.
So
of, like,
non-token, I think
robots and
non-token probably
viruses.
makes
Sure.
sense. You don't want him to pop
And
off
when we're
too
thinking about
hard. You
space
don't want to make it
viruses, I
too
also
easy on
immediately
him.
think to poison.
Okay.
Would you play this
So this is
in
actually a very doable
artifact
quest
commander
limited.
deck, an
I've
artifact
won with it
creature
a couple
commander
times.
deck?
And my
As a
favorite thing
way to
about
get
this
around
actually is
someone gaining
that
a bunch
it
of
can
life,
stack. So
stacks. So if
basically.
you have multiple virulent silencers out,
Like something like
one
that.
connection
You ever
gives
run into the person that's
4
at 400 life because they're a life gain deck or something, and you just can't really kill them?
I feel like
this is like an alt win con that doesn't care how much life your opponent has. It doesn't care if they have.
I was gonna ask, is this the only poison counter?
It doesn't care. Like it doesn't matter how much life they have.
All right. Cool. So
I could see it being an upside. I don't know if it's
challenge
really worth
accepted
it,
to
but
all you
maybe.
poison lovers out
Maybe.
there.
It is a little
Next
expensive
up,
at 3
we are going-
mana.
So that's kind of it for the main set preview cards. We do have some bonus sheet cards and some promos to talk through, though, as well as
bonus sheets and promos.
the kind of core 10 basic lands. So there are a number of.
I do want to see these lands
in this set because they're awesome and spacey. But these are. Turian, why don't you tell us about these basic lands?
I mean, they're fine. The lands look so. These lands in specific look so much worse if they're not full art. I just want to see more of space. So the mana symbols kind of take away. The art's fine though. The art's still fine. They just look so good in full border.
You're more typically going to get
Poison is
you do get
Decadudius.
You also find some
That's
of these, like,
not how you
the
say the
bundle
word, but
or
it's
the
something
commander
like that.
Right?
It's essentially not
they're very
evergreen,
much,
but they can
we
use
like to
it
include them in
more often,
that
something
typical
like
suite of
that.
products. They're still so strikingly beautiful.
Is there another
And one of the
volcanic
things I
island?
love about basics and going to a new world is you just get this, these amazing.
I feel
artists
like,
to do this
I mean, they all look
visuals,
pretty
and
good.
It really just shows off.
They all look
hey,
pretty
what
solid.
does the world look like? What is some
The
of
mountain, the
what is it?
molten flaming
yeah,
planet
basic
mountain
lands
looks
is
sweet.
the
This one looks cool
foundation
too.
of
That
Magic.
kind of looks
And in
earthy.
general,
That looks
like,
like
lands were
like we could
important to the
inhabit.
year. We knew
Decadudius.
that we would have very
Decadudius.
distinctive
I never say that word
for
right.
lands, and we would
But
get
yes,
to
that's
kind of
what
show
poison is
people
now.
Land art that looked very different.
The
from
mountain has a
typical,
mountain.
Land art because we get the sort of elevated perspective of the curve of the planet. And it's a very different way. And we kind of
They have spoiled so many cards. My God, today's spoiler video is going to be so long. It's gonna be it's gonna be a long one.
Important to this set.
Space it out a little, Watsy. Space it out. You don't gotta do it all in one day,
We created
Watsy.
a whole bonus sheet of lands. So we're going to show off some of those. We saw, obviously, a few of them in the debut video. But first of all, let's talk about how the bonus sheet of lands came to be. Where did that idea originate from?
Isn't that your idea?
Yeah, so...
I mean, land
when I
bonus
think
sheet's
of
a good
space,
one.
I think of going to a lot of different places. And
We haven't
seeing
really had a land bonus sheet
awesome
before,
things.
have we? We've had, like,
And when I think
artifacts,
of
we'd have
translating that into
spells.
Gameplay, it's definitely with lands.
I don't think
So
we've
we
had a
have
land
the
bonus sheet.
where you can get all these awesome lands from Magic's history, and then we tied it into the gameplay where you will see a lot of cards in Limited say how many different.
Yeah, but
named
that
lands
was
you can
not.
so you can have a
Wasn't
limited
that
deck and then have
like
Beautiful, you can have
Expeditions though?
card spoiled so
Or no?
far.
am
we'll
I
stop there, just so you
misremembering?
don't have to think about it, 'cause we'll show-
Were
we'll
those
show
like
some more.
those were
Some
like
of the
box
ones that
topper
we're about to
expeditions,
show.
right? Not
So
like a you get one in
bonus
every
sheet,
pack
so
bonus
let's
sheet.
talk.
I'm pretty sure
how
we
these are
we
open
definitely have had
during
lands
where
in
you get
Zendikar
these,
as
how
like
often
lotto
they
cards
show
before,
up.
but I don't know if
Or,
we've
like,
had
you
them
mentioned limited.
as like
How
a
often are you
in
gonna
every
be-
pack you
Yeah,
get
so
one
you-
bonus
limited.
sheet.
Yeah,
I
so
think
you-
this is
you
the
do
first
get,
time we've had like a
the Borderlands
Brothers War
Stellar
retro
sites,
artifacts,
and
but
they
for
become
lands.
a
But you are
focus
right that
for-
we have had
we limited
land
them to
sheets
only
in
rares
some
mythics.
forms in the past.
There's 35 rares and 10 mythic rares that you get, and in the play booster you get them 1 in 8 packs on average.
Oh.
Right. So that
So
means
1 in
that they will show up. I mean, they're incredibly powerful lands, right?
1 in
Just
8 packs
both
in play
limited
boosters,
and
and then
some
every
Magic
pack
formats.
in
So if you're doing
in
a
collector
draft,
boosters.
there'll be a few in the draft. Right, and so they add a little bit of surprise and diversity.
I just
to
want
the
to strip mine
right?
someone in
And-
limited.
and
Hey,
also,
what's up,
too,
Andy?
one
How
of
are
the
you?
things I
Good to see you.
really
Good to
like
see you.
about
I
limited
just want to
and
strip
only
mine. I'm in
rare
limited.
mythics is when you get one of these, it's just like you know you've opened up a winner. I mean, between the treatment and how aesthetically beautiful they are, how powerful they are. Yeah, so for those borderless stellar sites, they're in the play booster. 1 in 8 packs. Now, and then additionally, you can also find them in collector boosters as well, where collector boosters you're going to get. There's a few different variations, but when you're opening a collector booster, you'll be finding one of these as well.
I'm not sure Wizards knows what is in packs anymore.
So we're gonna look at 4 of
I don't think they
them
know all the
today. So
treatments.
First up is Blink Moth.
Blink Maw, that's the.
And as you called out,
I mean, they got it. Man, that
gorgeous
art. That art is so good.
That's a non-token artifact.
Ink Moth is better though,
non-token
right?
artifact creature.
Ink Moth is better than Blink Moth.
So, Mike, talk a little bit about the difference between.
Maybe
the
they
stellar
have.
sites
Maybe
and
they
the
have Ink Moth in there
Yeah,
too.
so the borderless stellar sites that when I was just talking about, hey,
They are
finding them in
just
the play
starting
booster,
to
those are the
show
ones,
off.
that
The
show up in 1
lands.
and 8 play boosters.
The bad one. Oh, do you mean like the ones you gotta tap a bunch of creatures to power up? They've shown off 2 of them.
A collector booster exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah, Blink Ball theme's
so,
still playing
you know, we
Commander.
want-
It's kind of fallen out of
as
favor
Ethan
in
was talking about,
Constructed.
you go to outer space,
It used to be
you
like
feel
a modern
opportunity
staple back in the
to
day,
capture
but
the resonance.
then
and
Ink
bring
Moth
these,
came,
you know, incredibly powerful.
and now
lands
Affinity.
into
I don't think
a
Affinity
new,
plays either anymore in
into a
Modern.
new setting, and so we didn't want to just do that one time. We knew that our artists would really be.
I
able
feel
to,
like cards like this have gotten
create a
less
couple different-
impactful because
different variations.
the game has just gotten
So
more
as well as
powerful that
poster
spending a
stellar
couple
sites,
of mana to
collector
like
booster exclusive, you can find them there in foil and non.
do something not that
And
impactful,
then,
like make a land into a 1/1 is just it's harder today than in the past.
But then both of these are also available in
Is it good in
Galaxy
limited?
as well. So,
I mean, if you can afford the
you know,
colorless land,
there's
it's
a lot of
fine.
cool variations
It's
here and a
fine.
lot of just
It turns into 1/1.
amazing
You can
cards.
jump block if you need to stay alive. You can chip in for
And speaking of
damage.
amazing cards, so I mean, Magic has a lot of cool lands throughout its history. What was the process like for selecting?
I do kind
things
of
that
like the
made it
spaceship
onto
going
this
over the name. That's kind of cool.
So we definitely wanted to have a nice mix.
I'm still not sure
of
what is
lands
the
that
one
you're
that's
gonna
on
be
the
super
right.
excited for your
What is that
constructed
art?
decks. We also wanted
Like, is that a
healthy mix
space
of lands
ship?
that also play well in limited. So for example, Blink Moth Nexus, super fun card to play with in limited, just because land and creature, and it works really well with your artifact synergies. So it was just a really good fit for the set. And we'll also see our next card is an excellent fit.
Well, there were some creative constraints on which lands we could use
Indeed,
also,
yes.
right? They needed to make sense within the setting of the edge.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll have names that are very specific and
I guess
just
that makes sense, right?
Like, for example, we couldn't use Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth.
Right. That doesn't exist in
That does not
space.
exist in space.
But apparently, an Eldrazi Temple does.
Yes, Eldrazi Temple. One of
Couldn't
my
you just
favorite
be like
cards.
Urborg exists in space too
and
for some
also
reason?
just
There's got to
speaking
be
towards the
there's got to be
existence
some
of the
justification
Eldrazi
if you really
edge
wanted
is
Urborg.
awesome.
But
Um,
Eldrazi Temple,
Ethan did
okay,
mention there
good
are
choice.
a lot of
Good
lands
modern
that
land.
flavorfully don't make sense, but this
Fine
is the
commander
one
land.
that actually does make a lot of active sense here. So Eldrazi Temple in the set, you can cast your one Eldrazi.
Is
with
Eldrazi
it.
Temple
Good luck.
worth anything?
All right.
Maybe
Eldrazi
not
Temple is about $5
Let's take a
bucks,
look
$5,
at
$6
one
bucks.
you already mentioned, which is Mutavault.
Mutavault.
Yeah, so for me, I was so glad to see Mutavault return.
Mutavault's really good.
I got to work on the original.
I don't know how
set when
much-
we introduced Mutavault, and so
I don't know how
me,
much there's to say
anytime,
about
you
these
know, and it
lands.
was,
They're good reprints.
Back then, of course, it was inspired by Mishra's Factory. And
It
so
would be
it's
cool.
like,
Should you
know,
get
there's this
one per pack
history
in
of
play boosters
lands
too?
and callbacks and
Maybe would that make
now
limited? If you
bringing
got
it
one of these per
forward into
pack
outer
in
space,
play boosters, would that make limited too
Edge of
wild?
Eternities
Probably, I guess.
pretty
Maybe it
fun.
hurts
This
limited,
one is,
or
it's
is
another one that's
limited
pretty
just
good
wild
in,
because of play boosters anyway?
Premium
So it
Limited,
doesn't
right? That,
it doesn't
you know,
matter
the
anymore.
Gaining all creature types ends up being
Autumn
surprisingly,
Jake, welcome to the baseball. Thank you so much for your
Yeah, exactly,
subscription.
right?
Thank you,
Right?
thank you,
And
thank you.
that's
I
one
mean,
of the
last
fun
time
things
Mutavault
is,
was
like,
in standard, it was
you know,
pretty
will that
busted.
happen? Will it happen often? No. But
I
will it
feel
happen? Yeah,
like
certainly.
I feel
And
like
it's
it
just
is
this fun little
unlikely that we see it in
moment,
standard
funny
again. For maybe standard's gotten
And
powerful enough
clarifying,
now. Last time
for
was Magic
chat's covering
2014.
this already, but just
And
to
I
say
remember
out
they
loud,
ended up
these
feeling
are
like it was
not
a
legal
mistake
in
to
standard.
reprint into
They
standard
are
at that
not
point.
legal in standard, yes.
Like I
Everything
think
on
Wizards
the,
actually said that they felt like it ended up being a mistake because it was just played
Yeah, and we
everywhere.
tried to indicate that.
It would
if
be
you
a
look, I know the
huge
bottom left of the
staple.
cards,
Like
fairly
pretty much
small,
any
you see
monocolor deck or
it
any
says
tribal deck would
EOS
be
down
jamming
there,
Mutavault.
right, where the
It
edge
still
of the
seems like
cards say
a lot of
EOS.
Pioneer
So
play.
that was just
A
trying to
little bit of
indicate,
modern
hey,
play.
these are
It's
special
probably
cards.
it's probably too
They're,
strong
you know,
for
they're stellar
standard.
sites. That's what the S is for.
Well, we'll stay on that topic a little bit because
It
one
is
of the
kinda
other ways
jarring
that
not
we
to have the
often
set
indicate
symbol,
that
isn't
is
it?
with a different set symbol, but these don't have a set symbol.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Perfect timing.
As we're going through and looking at them, right? The creative team and the graphic design team wanted to really use this idea of, you know, instead of scale birds, right? Birds that show scale.
Yeah.
There's these idea of like scale spaceships, right?
Sure.
The scale ships, and you can see one there zooming through them.
Oh, I see. That's why they put the spaceship so you could kind
they're breaking the
kind of get a
frame,
sense of how
so
big it
as
actually
we're going
is.
And looking at images upcoming, you'll see even more of them.
Sneaky
Some of
artists
those
with all their
were
tricks of
basically
perspective.
colliding with that expansion symbol, and so we decided, hey, let's just let's just remove the expansion symbol, which is something that we've done. We did a little bit in the Final Fantasy set, did a little bit here.
I kind of don't like the
so we
expansion
wanted
symbol, I don't think.
Try that out. Now you still can see the rarity, that M in that
it's
bottom left is
weird.
indicating
It's just weird. I'm just so used. Yeah, it looks like a proxy.
So
You're right. It
there's
does
still
look
some
like a
indicators,
proxy.
but,
Not that it's. I mean, whatever. This is not
And
some
also
deal
I'll say
breaker or
one
anything,
thing
but
that made
I
me
think
a
I would
little bit
choose
more
to keep
comfortable doing
the
this
set
and
symbol
experimenting this way
personally.
is these cards just are so visually distinct, right?
It just
we
like it's
moved
just
down the
jarring.
title
I'm so
bar,
used to seeing it that it's
itself.
like you notice it when
and
it's
so
missing
I'm
because
hoping
it's
that
you're
that
just so used to
distinction
seeing it on a
will
card.
Sort of offset a lot of what.
Although really the art is so cool, like I can forgive it in this case.
We have one final card from the bonus sheet to show off. We've got Thespian's Stage.
Hey,
I love the art on.
I love the art on the left. The art on the left is sweet.
Yeah, and it, I mean the art is fantastic.
Show us what you've got.
Floating floating spaceships, right? When I'm talking about that expansion symbol, right?
Show us what
has
you've
that right where you
got.
typically.
This one I don't like as much. The one on the right I don't like nearly as much. The one on the one on the left I love.
One of
The one on the
things
right
we
I'm
tried
kind
to
of
do
I'm
in
kind of
design
mad.
was put dark depths onto the
Not a
bonus
fan of
sheet,
how much the
but
art is on the top
unfortunately,
of the
dark depths
frame on
creates
these.
a token with a name.
Yeah, it
Token
is.
with a
It is
name that
interesting to have nothing on the top. It makes it very full of art.
No, Barry Lage is not in space,
What? Are you
unfortunately.
sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did you check out behind every
I
planet?
checked. I checked everywhere.
Oh, we got some
All
spacecraft
right,
for
and
perspective
then,
up here.
We've referenced the Galaxy Foils. Now, we don't have one of these to show off in Galaxy Foil, but we do just have the short clip from the debut video. You might have missed it, but we had, there it is.
Those look just like
and,
the last unset to me. They look almost exactly like. Was it Infinity? It looks almost exactly like the Infinity Lands to me. Like so incredibly similar to Foil Infinity Lands.
It was debuted there. It was so well.
I blame them.
Getting them in person is just a beautiful treatment.
I wonder how expensive they'll be. There's so many cool lands now that I feel like it's hard for a cool basic to actually be that expensive, which is actually awesome. That's one of the places you can bling out your deck very cheap now. Is there's just so many full art lands, but these ones might actually. Maybe they can break
the
out.
Galaxy Foil the same as Infinity, or is it slightly tweaked and updated?
Yeah, it's a little bit updated. I mean, for that you really have to have, I'll say, a pretty keen eye, right, between the two. But you know, we wanted to always capture. Hey, this is what's cool and amazing and
Galaxy
resonant
Foil
about the
sweet.
world.
And it makes. I don't know if you've seen the Galaxy Foil cards from Infinity,
but
I randomly got like some
lot of that
some
really
Walmart
is
pack or Target pack. They had like 3 random booster packs in it, and one of them was Infinity, and I got one of the Galaxy Foil shocks in it by just blind luck, and it looks really sweet.
Over or underwhelm.
Yeah.
I will say they don't look that excited, but I feel like that's in part. They gotta have Marrow on here. They need Marrow and Gavin
to show off.
I feel like this is just not the most excitable crew. Like I know Andrew pretty well, and he's just not like a super excitable. I see him as a pretty like level-headed, calm person. He's not gonna be Marrow that's like, you're just like, oh my god, they're printing a promo of the Crim card. They're printing a promo of the Crim card. Yeah, so I think it's just the crew that they got is not not necessarily the most hype men of the WotC staff crew.
Yeah, buy a box, check with your local game store.
Do you like the Galaxy
for
Shocks?
availability, but
I
generally
love the
speaking,
Galaxy
if you buy a
Shocks.
box, you get one of these. At participating local.
I mean, the card's fine. I just like Mimi on Crim
next
about
up we
it,
have
but
the bundle promo. So
it
this
does
is
seem good
the
for Mill.
Emissary Escort.
Oh man, they must be really
Robot
high on this
soldier we were talking
card.
about. This one will come
Wizard seems really
inside the
maybe this is a modern card. I don't know if a big beater can be a card in modern anymore. Like Dream Scenario, 2 mana, 7/4.
It's just another way to capture a card that's probably going to be.
Is that
impactful,
enough?
You know,
It might be.
maybe
It
in
might
standard,
actually be.
certainly in limited, but maybe in some.
It might work in Infinity. Yeah, the art is really cool. I mean, I feel like we've said that a lot this set. I feel like we've said a
then
lot
finally,
that the art is
we're
really
only showing
cool.
Off one, so for every set we do promo pack cards, which are generally uncommons. They come in these small promo packs that you can get at your local game store for playing in events, doing well at events, kind of whatever the store wants to do. Normally we show off all of them at the same time, but we're kind of dishing them out a little bit one at a time here. So we're going to show off one of the promo pack cards, which is that Starfield Shepherd.
I mean, that's a good one. I think Starfield Shepherd's pretty good.
This is one of my favorite cards in Limited, too.
Yeah.
No Evasion and Trample does her.
Yeah, good
that
value
is
on the
that
warp.
is for sure.
And then
Even that art is super cool. I love this space theme. I love the space theme. I don't know if there's been a Magic set in a long time where I've said I love the art so much. It's just like,
great.
It all looks really, really sweet.
Decks for sure. My Angel deck, it wants this. Not a lot of
Wow.
with mana value 1, but there are some.
Well,
the 1-mana Angel.
I think that's the spoilers we're getting.
Perfect.
all right, that is everything we have for.
All right, Watsy. Well, I gotta say, we got a ridiculously huge round of spoilers. Some of them went by so fast we didn't even get to see them. Let's look at these cards one more time real quick before I go to a spoiler video for the YouTube. So here is all this stuff that they showed off. You can always find it over at mtgpreviews.com. We got them all uploaded thanks to Niantic. So the warp cards, Starfield Vocalist is literally a Panharmonicon. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, the ability triggers an additional time, warp for 2. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Panharmonicons, they've printed so many, I don't get as hyped anymore when I see a Panharmonicon because I just expect one in every set now. Although being able to warp it for 2 is very interesting to me. I like that idea. Anti-casual vintage, 6 mana 7/5. This card I think is kind of busted. 6 mana 7/5 Eldrazi. When it leaves the battlefield, draw a card. You can put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from your hand on the battlefield tapped. You warp it for 4. So you can warp it for 4. Presumably on turn 4 with 4 lands. It's going to leave because of the warp cost on your end step. You can put something mana value 4 less into play, and then you cast it for 6, get a 7/6. If it gets blinked, it will trigger, which is kind of crazy. If you can loop it with Cloudstone Curio, you can probably put your entire deck into play. Plus, it's just a good value card. Like, it's definitely not cat. It's a spike card. It's good. It's very good. I actually think Cosmogoyf might be busted. There are 1 mana cards that can essentially exile your entire library. I mean, see Thassa's Oracle combo. There's Spoils of the Vault. There's a lot of ways that if you build around this, you could just exile 20 cards, 30 cards, 40 cards, and all of a sudden your Goyf is just ridiculously huge. And you could be doing this on turn 1 theoretically. I think that Cosmogoyf might actually, in standard, really cool with Collect Evidence. Collect Evidence, you can exile any number of cards. You can exile any number of cards. You can over-exile to collect evidence if you want to. You just have to exile the evidence number, but you can exile more than that. So that's a way you can exile your entire graveyard. Yeah, I'm actually thinking Cosmogoyf might actually be a pretty good card. Not sure about the station stuff. Still figuring out station. This one's Exalted Sunborn is kind of interesting. 5 mana 4/5 flying lifelink Angel Wizard. Whenever 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, create twice that many instead. You warp it for 2. So essentially, we're losing Mondrak at rotation. This is kind of our Mondrak replacement. My only worry with this card is Elspeth might just do the same thing but better in standard. We're going to have to see if being an angel matters, being a wizard matters, if warping enables some sort of combo. I feel like just in a generic deck, if I wanted to double tokens, I'd probably just play Elspeth since Planeswalkers mostly harder to kill than creatures in some board states at least. But yeah, so it kind of competes with Elspeth, but it seems very strong. It is not legendary, which opens up the Anointed Procession combos of like copying it and just, oh my god, once you start copying it, it gets out of hand really, really quickly. Orabori. Where is Orabori? Do you have a link? Do you have a link to the card? Because I don't. Oh, wait, is this it? Hang on, I might have found it. Is it something the Infinite Void? Oh, no, that's... No, that's a custom card someone made. What else do we got on here? Yeah, this is not the one. Oborius. The lands look really sweet. Terminal Velocity, 6 mana. You can put an artifact or creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. The permanent gains haste. Whenever this permanent leaves the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its mana value to each creature. And at the beginning of your end step, sack this permanent. Huh? Wait, so 6 mana. You put an artifact or creature from your hand into play. It gains haste. When it leaves the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its mana value to each creature, and you have to sack it on the end step. That actually might be a good enough Wrath in red. That might actually be enough Wrath in red commander decks, as weird as that sounds. That might actually be the one. Oh, all right, here it is. Ouroboros, 4 mana, 1/3. Ugh. Okay, so not a huge amount of stats. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, where X is this creature's power. Ooh. So at the beginning of combat, you put a +1/+1 counter on your team, but then that will grow this. So then it'll be 2 counters the next turn. Obviously, if you can put a pump spell or something on it, it can get really big really, really quickly. That's interesting. That's an interesting card. I feel like there are going to be scenarios where this card does ridiculous things, and then there's going to be scenarios where it feels like a 4 mana 1/3. It is cool that it buffs itself. Normally, a lot of times you see cards buff other creatures. It's really interesting that it buffs itself. We have a lot of support for a +1/+1 counter deck. Counter doubling effects, Hollow Mercies. There's so much support for it. 4 mana, though, for a 1/3. I mean, at least cut down. So Tragic Trajectory is probably the new cut down, but the biggest difference is its sorcery speed, which is actually a pretty meaningful difference. I think that the new, I want to say map tokens. They're not map tokens, lander tokens. Really intrigued by the new lander tokens. I think those might actually be pretty good. Oh, wait, they actually... Oh, I don't know about that treatment. That land's so busted. So busted. This set, the green aggro card's wild. Sunset Saboteur's wild. I love this set. This set just looks so cool to me. All right, last card, and then I gotta do a spoiler video. The Endstone. This one is a commander card, right? It's probably a commander card. But in a commander deck, it's probably busted. 7 mana legendary artifact. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, you draw a card. At the beginning of your end step, your life total becomes half of your starting life total rounded. Oh, that's actually better than I thought. At the beginning of your end step, your life total. Oh, I totally misread. I totally misread that card. I thought that the last line of text on this card. Was it made you lose half your life rounded up, like punishment for playing this card draw effect. It actually can be gaining you life, depending on your life total. If you're at a very high life total, it's going to hurt you, because you're going to go from 40 to 20 if you're playing Commander, or 20 to 10 if you're playing Standard. But if you're low on life, it could actually be gaining you life. I feel like this is probably bonkers in Commander. And if you can untap with it in any... like, whenever you play a spell, draw a card is just such a crazy line of text. It seems like you should be able to combo off and just cast so many spells and draw so many cards that it's going to be able to win you the game. It is 7 mana, though. It is 7 mana, so it's a big cost to get it up. Best card in the set. Chrome Companion. 2 mana, 2/1, dog. Whenever a creature becomes tapped, you gain a life. Pay 2, put the target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. That is pretty cute. Little robo dog. Oh, so chat, I always ask this. Now that we've seen these spoilers, hype level, up, down, where are we at as we wrap this up? And then I gotta go do a spoiler video for the YouTubes. What do y'all think now that we've seen this out? I will say my overall impression is I really like the mechanics. I think it looks fairly powerful, and the art looks absolutely spectacular. The art is like maybe some of my favorite Magic art that we've seen in a long time. So I would say that my hype level was already pretty high. It is increased based on the stream, which is impressive because I will also say the stream itself, Wizards, if you're watching this, I love all of you. Y'all are doing great. You're my friends. I love you, but get Mero, get Gavin, like get one of those guys that are more hype men for future preview streams. I feel like the preview stream itself was maybe a little bit too chill when you kind of need that like hype person, like salesperson attitude on there. So keep that in mind for the future, Wizards. The stream itself could have been maybe amped up a little bit, but the cards in the set looks really, really sweet. Oh my god. Weapons manufacturing. 2-mana enchantment. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, create a colorless artifact token named Munitions. With whenever this token leaves the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, create a colorless artifact token named Munitions. Is that a real card? I feel like it's missing text. I feel like this card's missing text. Because how do you get them off the battlefield? There's no... Or I guess maybe that's the challenge of the card. So you create this non-creature artifact that doesn't do anything. And then you try to, like, sacrifice them to Arcbound Ravager, to Pitiless Carnage, Player Wrath. The weird part is they don't sack themselves, right? Unlike a lot of other artifact tokens, they don't actually sack themselves. There's no pay a mana to sack it or anything like that. Interesting. That card's kind of crazy. That seems like a really sweet build around. The other card, I missed, where was this card earlier? Oh, this card. I didn't mention this earlier. Is this card also not kind of busted? This one I haven't seen anyone talk about. Biotech Specialist. 2-mana Insect Shaman for a 1/3. When it enters, you make a lander token. You can pay 2 sack it, get a basic. The exciting line of text, whenever you sack an artifact, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. Doesn't it seem pretty possible? Doesn't it seem pretty possible to get 10 treasures and just sack them and kill someone? Or like, throw an Academy Manufacturer into the mix with Lannis and Samwise, and you're just like, this card to me seems like an absurd finisher for 2 mana. Where you just don't need that many artifact tokens. And it kind of, that enchantment made me think of it, because those are also artifacts. So if you sacrifice them with this out, then each is dealing 4 damage. But I actually think this card is like Mayhem Devil level scary. Like this card is bonkers that it only costs 2 mana. Like this one, keep an eye out for Modern, keep an eye out for Pioneer. I think it's actually like a power level that it's cheap enough and scary enough that it could break into older formats. Like it is a scary, scary card. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Anyway, everyone, I think we got to wrap up the stream for today because I got to go do a spoiler video for the YouTube. So if you're looking for even more action on Edge of Eternities, head over to the YouTube in a few hours. I'm going to do a spoiler video. Reminders on the way out the door. Replay YouTube for all your old streams. Normal YouTube, like I mentioned. Spoiler stuff coming out. One more shout out to Card Kingdom for sponsoring the show. And most importantly, thank you to all of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome. And I love y'all. Thanks for hanging out and watching some spoilers. Check out the YouTube. I know my typing so rough today. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. You're amazing. I love y'all. See you, Mega Magikarp. See you, everyone. You're be good. I'll see you next week for another one. Until then, I will talk to you soon.